The following program is rated TV MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
They gave me my theme music!
This is a Planet Fanatics production.
The following program is rated TV MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
They gave me my theme music!
This is a Planet Fanatics production.
What's up and what's going on, fellow fanatics? Let's turn that music down. My apologies. How's everybody doing this evening? I hope you all are doing well. Sorry. I need to turn that down too. Anyway, I hope that you all are doing well this evening. I appreciate everybody for being here, the ones that are here, the ones that are commenting, the ones watching, and the ones coming in. I appreciate all of you, brother, or God, brother. I saw you here first. I appreciate you being here, Falcon. Appreciate it. Stamina, Brother Stark, Groovy, Dan the Man, all of you guys. I appreciate you guys being here and hanging out with me this evening. So there are a few good topics, I think. Well, it was a slow news day for what it was, but there are some good topics out there right now that I did want to get into with you guys. One of the things that we're going to talk about is this rumor that I do not believe at all, but we're going to get into it, and that is that the MCU has casted, or looking to cast, Denzel Washington as Dormammu in the MCU, and we'll get into that article and that rumor soon. The other thing that we're going to talk about is something that I've said for months, and that is that Armor Wars is canceled. It's not going to happen. Now, is this official from Marvel Studios? No, but we are going to get into that as well. The other thing that I wanted to dive into a little bit deeper that we didn't get to dive into on Thursday as well as I wanted to, and that was the test screenings for Captain America 4 and just how utterly unnecessary this film is and how it is seriously going to bomb in February. And your mileage may vary, you may not think so, but I can tell you right now from the test screenings, the lack of excitement surrounding the film, Anthony Mackie not being able to be a leading actor to, pull in box office numbers, put asses in seats, etc., etc. It just smells like a recipe for disaster. And the other thing that I want to talk to you guys about is some of the Marvel Black Panther news in the MCU. What's going on with BP in the MCU, and not just BP, but this is a continuation, kind of, sort of, I can call it that, of the scoop I gave 4 months ago from my trusted Marvel source that gave me the Damson Idris scoop, and this is a part of that Damson Idris scoop. This is the part that I really couldn't discuss 4 months ago, but I can kind of somewhat discuss now, so we'll kind of go into it since something has been somewhat hinted at it. So we're going to get into that and everything else. Like I said, appreciate all of you guys being here. It really does mean a lot that you guys show up to these live streams. So let's get into the news and see what's going on. So the first thing that we'll talk about is just going to be the Denzel Washington deal. Now, there have been several rumors for quite a while. I want to say before phase 4 and 5, before we were poisoned with those phases, Denzel Washington was rumored to have a role in the MCU, and that role at the time was Magneto. Remember that crazy time in the MCU when it came to rumors that Denzel Washington was going to be Magneto, and they wanted Giancarlo Esposito to be Professor Xavier, and then there was a bunch of other crazy casting rumors at that time too. But Denzel Washington was one of the ones that was rumored to be joining the MCU for quite a while. His name is kind of synonymous with names like Ryan Gosling, whose name we've heard joining the MCU for a long time. And so when we hear Denzel Washington's name joining the MCU, I don't believe that at all. First of all, I don't see Denzel signing on to do, and who says that this has to be a 10-picture type of deal? It could be a one-and-done type of deal. Who knows? But why bring Dormammu on to just be, and why have Denzel, and you know you're going to have to pay Denzel, why have Denzel come on to be Dormammu for just a one-and-done deal? And as I've always said many times when discussing Denzel, and I remember those rumors when people were wanting him to be Magneto, I had said at the time no, and I still say no to that. One, because Magneto's race is synonymous and essential to his background, his story. You know, I'm not for the race swapping. I never really have been for the race swapping. I feel like Magneto is a white man who survived the Holocaust, and that should be his backstory. I remember people were throwing stories around saying, well, if they did it with Denzel, Magneto could be from doing mental gymnastics. Magneto could be from like the Jim Crow era, or he could be from like, I was like, no, none of that. No, none of that. But Denzel Washington joining the MCU, again, I didn't want him as Magneto because there were plenty of, I always say this, and this is just going to sound like a broken record, black characters within the MCU that are being shelved that Denzel Washington could play and do a phenomenal job at. Dormammu, once again, we are getting a black actor. Again, let's pretend and play like this is true. You're getting another black actor that is going to come and join some type of sci-fi film where their blackness is going to be covered. A lot of people in Star Wars like to say, well, we're not racist toward Rosario Dawson. Well, that's because you can't see Rosario Dawson's blackness. She's orange in Star Wars because she's Ahsoka Tano. She is an alien. She's a Togruit. So she's not a Togruta, sorry. So she's not even human. So of course, you're not going to see her black skin. I remember when people with the most recent Aaron Pierre rumors, before he was officially cast as Jon Stewart, there were some people saying, well, if he doesn't get Jon Stewart, I'd like him to get Sinestro. And I'm like, well, no, I'm not really for that, because once again, it's another black actor where you're covering his black skin. I'm gonna give you one more. The rumors that Lakeith Stanfield was going to be Norn Rad in the MCU, was going to be Silver Surfer. I didn't like that. Why? Because once again, a talented black actor is getting their skin color covered. So with Dormammu, if that was to be true for Denzel, Dormammu is not from, he's not even human. He's not human. He's not from this world. He is an entity. He's a god. So you have this entity that now you want Denzel to play, and we know what Dormammu looks like, so you wouldn't see any features of Denzel or his black skin. But what the article here is saying is rumors are swirling on social media that Sam Raimi is officially directing Doctor Strange 3, with the Oscar-winning actor Denzel Washington tapped to play the villainous Dormammu. Here's the latest on that. Then it goes on to say, if you have been on social media this weekend, chances are you have heard that Doctor Strange 3 is moving forward with filmmaker Sam Raimi. And then it says in the Gladiator 2 star, Denzel Washington has officially been cast as Dormammu. Great news, right? Well, while at least one viral X post sharing the news has racked over 9.5 million views, it's not true. The update comes from Production Weekly, and I forgot to say that it does come from Production Weekly. Now, although Production Weekly is typically reliable with a lot of their sources, I just don't think that this source, that whoever this came from for them, got this right. Goes on to say publication with a 10% chance of ever actually being correct, typically because beyond production start dates, the information shared is collected from online rumors or fan speculation. For example, Production Weekly recently revealed that the Mr. Freeze movie is officially in the works from producer Matt Reeves, the Batman. A few hours later, DC Studios co-CEO James Gunn confirmed the project doesn't exist. Now, here's the thing about James Gunn when it comes to some of those things. James Gunn has gone online before and said something that has gone on to be something else. Example, the Superman movie. He went on to say that Ultraman is not in the film, and there is a lot of evidence that support that Ultraman is in the film. Now, Ultraman may not be in the film. I don't know. I haven't really gone in deep in those rumors since that he debunked them. But there's been a lot of rumors that have suggested that Ultraman is in the film, where James Gunn got online and tried to debunk all of that. So just because James Gunn gets online and says, "Oh, that's not true," he could be pulling, and I'm going to use that in Andrew Garfield. Let's not forget the No Way Home era, when Andrew Garfield got asked many times, "Are you in No Way Home? Are you in No Way Home? Are you in No Way Home?" And in every interview, he was ducking and dodging, and of course, doing the typical Hollywood thing, not telling the truth about what type of project he's in because it's supposed to be a secret. So if James Gunn is saying that they're not doing a Mr. Freeze film, possibly, because I'm going to add this to it, there could be the whole thing that, James Gunn does want Matt Reeves' Batman to come over into the DCU and be the DCU Batman instead of this Elseworld shit that they're doing. Maybe he's saying now it doesn't exist. At one point it did, now it does not because we're trying to do this whole thing. Or again, maybe he's just saying no because he doesn't want something to get leaked. So do I believe that? I don't know. Do I really care? I also don't, because I don't give a fuck about a Mr. Freeze film either. Then this goes on to say, while Marvel Studios might be eager to bring Raimi back into the fold for Doctor Strange and after the Multiverse of Madness sequel, or for a Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness sequel, we've heard nothing to suggest he's boarded the threequel. Now, that was a rumor that was a couple weeks ago that had said that Sam Raimi was going to helm the Doctor Strange 3 film, Doctor Strange 3, which I had said I wasn't really mad about at all. I think Sam Raimi is an excellent director. We also have to remember Multiverse of Madness. With a lot of these directors, with all these directors, they're just coming on to direct. They're just the name. They don't have any power or any control like that we know when it comes to how things are going or what story is going to be told or X, Y, and Z. So Multiverse of Madness already had a story preset. Sam Raimi just came in and did his directing thing. So I know a lot of people don't like Multiverse of Madness. Don't pin that on Sam Raimi. It's not really his fault. I think Sam Raimi is an excellent director. This goes on to say the previous movie featured a multitude of strange variants as has Disney's What If. However, it was in the movie's closing moments that the hero met Dormammu's daughter Clea and was enlisted to help stop the incursion he'd supposedly caused. Now, obviously we know that Clea is in the film. We do know that she is going to have a major presence in the following films to come. We know her story in the comics. We know that she is Doctor Strange's love interest. They go on to get married, X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah. So we know that she's going to have a huge presence in this, the whole post-credit scene, you caused an incursion, how are you going to help me fix it? The third eye with Doctor Strange. So we know that she's going to have a big presence. So it's possible that Dormammu will be in the next film. Is it possible that it's Denzel? 10%, I'm going to go over under 10. Yeah. This one, then it goes on to say, we haven't seen Strange since, but in the recent interview, looking back at his career, Cumberbatch confirmed he'll shoot a new Avengers movie in 2025. And this is that interview I was talking about where he was saying that really that's where the confirmation came from, that Avengers 5 was going to be shooting in the summer of 2025. He said, this is Doctor Strange. The British actor shared, he's a Marvel character. Well, I'll be really honest about it. The joy of playing him is immense, but also the joy of playing him means I can help create a platform stories and writing and less commercial fare into being. And then he says, he's a gift in many ways. In my life as a producer and as an actor, I love playing him. He's great fun. I'm very much looking forward to Avengers next year, which is cooking up a storm. So the last thing they put here, they said, we know that Disney is eager for Marvel Studios to move away from the threequel so Strange's story can continue in the Avengers movies. Might be in the Avengers movie might be an attractive. I'm sorry, the way they wrote this. Away from the threequel, so Strange's story continuing in the Avengers movies might be an alternative to greenlighting a third movie revolving around him and Clea. It's still possible that will also go into production in 2025, of course, with the dropping between Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. So that's why a lot of people have been saying with a lot of the rumors that Doctor Strange 3 is going to be a Battle World type of film, just like Spider-Man 4 is going to be. Just like the rumored Scarlet Witch film is going to be, all those films in between. How they're doing all these films in between Avengers 5 and Avengers 6, I don't know. But that is the rumor, that it's supposed to be going on between Avengers 5 and Avengers 6, and it's supposed to be a battle world type of film. And there was also a rumor at one point in time that it was going to be adapting the Time Runs Out comic book. So that's, if it does, like I said, I've always felt like Time Runs Out was always going to be adapted within this. I mean, it starts the whole entire Secret Wars story. So I would think that that would be adapted in some form. So it's been the rumor that it's going to be Doctor Strange 3. And if Sam Raimi is helming this, it could be very good. If Denzel Washington is actually going to join as Dormammu, again, I don't like that. I don't really care how good. I love Denzel. I really do. I love Denzel. But Denzel as Dormammu, and I don't really care if it's a one and done type of deal. If we're gonna do a one and done, let's do a one and done. Blue Marvel. It's the multiverse. Have him come in as Blue Marvel, Adam Brashear from another universe. There's a lot of different people. Black heroes that he could be, other than having him play Dormammu. But as always, question is for you guys. Let me know down below what you guys are thinking. Do you like Denzel as Dormammu? Do you think that he's actually being casted as Dormammu? And who would you have him be outside of Dormammu in the MCU? So let's see what you guys are thinking. Let's see. Brother Stark, I appreciate that. He said my hat collection, bro. You should see my hats. I have so many hats. But he also said casting Denzel as Dormammu is such a waste if it's true. Y'all better let Tony Todd keep his job. Then he said, Paul the True Believer just said, what's up? Appreciate you being here. Stamina said, agree, Brother Stark. It'd be as if they were trying to outdo all the previous waste of fantastic actors. I hope to heavens that this is bullshit. I hope it is too, but again, like I said, it's been a long time rumor that Denzel was going to join the MCU in some form or capacity, and it was around the same time that we started getting the Giancarlo rumors, and look where Giancarlo currently is in the MCU as once again another black actor being wasted as side fucking winder. So, Brother Stark, I'm sorry, he wasn't talking to me, but Dan the Man said, honestly, just change up the form of Dormammu and keep Benedict as the voice. Yeah. Brother Stark also said Denzel was going to do an Uptown Saturday Night remake with Will Smith, but the script needed to be right. Denzel only chooses projects that make sense. Stamina said Marvel don't do multi-picture deals anymore, not as standard / by default at least. One and done is how they've gotten most of their credible names to sign on recent years. That is true. I will give that. Actually, that is very true. I.e., what was that true with Angelina Jolie? Because I remember a lot of people saying, "How are you going to get Angelina Jolie back? Are you going to get Angelina So was that true with Angelina, seeing as the Eternals 2 is not a thing anymore? I'm assuming we will see the Eternals once again, and I'm assuming that probably won't be until Avengers 5 or 6. So maybe, yeah, I would assume that that's probably the next time that we'd see her, and the next time that she'd be getting some type of check from Marvel. But as far as the Denzel thing goes with that, it could be true. It could be a deal where he did do a one and done deal. But I mean, how you get Denzel Washington to come do Dormammu for a Doctor Strange film? I don't know. Stamina also said, as they should, motherfuckers don't need to know in advance. I condone any and all lie telling in relation to movies. Ramar said, no. Denzel is the Beyonder. Marvel, this better not be true. That's a rumor too. That was a rumor for a while that we were going to see Denzel as the Beyonder. Kenny Pierce said, IDK, this feels too one note for Denzel. That's what I'm saying. How do you get Denzel to come do Dormammu in a Doctor Strange film? Unless there's depth to Dormammu, like with Gore, I don't see that, man. They're gonna fuck it up, i.e. Gore. I agree with that too. Justin said, people need to stop believing random rumor sites with poor CGI at this point. Shit is getting annoying, and people actually believe this garbage. It's not from Marvel or actually set photos. Don't trust. That's why a lot of people always say, take everything with a massive grain of salt. But I will say this, when it comes to, at least on my end of things, when it comes to when we've covered scoops, we covered the plot leak for Wakanda Forever. Absolutely nail on the head correct. We covered the plot leak for Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness. Absolutely nail on the head correct. Before we started really getting our viewership, we did the plot leak for No Way Home. Absolutely correct. Some of these leaks and things that these scoopers come out with do be nail on the head. Some of these things are just bullshit just to get people clicking and talking. But a lot of this shit is accurate. Now, do I think that Marvel has had discussions with Denzel Washington? I don't know if they've per se had discussions with Denzel. Do I think Denzel has been on the table over at Marvel Studios? Yes, I do. Again, why am I saying that? Because Giancarlo's name was in the same hat that Denzel's name was in. And where the fuck is he? In the MCU. So there are a lot of these scoopers, when they talk and they say the things that they say, sometimes, again, take all of it with a massive grain of salt. But a lot of the times, I would say maybe 50-50, 60-60, they be hitting that shit nail on the head. For sure. Let's see. Anthony said, report by Jaguar says that she has proof Denzel's involved in Diddy case today. Oh, I'll tell you what, I don't believe anything that Jaguar Wright says any longer. And the reason I don't believe anything that Jaguar Wright says is because she went on Pierce Morgan. I don't want to change, this is not going into a Diddy conversation because I have other things I have to talk about tonight, and I still got to get on that, hit those weights tonight. So I've got other things to do. But I do want to side note this really quickly. Jaguar Wright went on Pierce Morgan. You know, it's different. I said this, me and Marcus, I believe. I think it was me and Marcus. I don't remember who I was talking about this with. Maybe it wasn't Marcus. I thought maybe it was him before we went on the Pantheon stream, but maybe not. Jaguar was doing her crazy, insane, entertaining, very entertaining, because I watched them. It was entertaining as shit. But every sentence, at the end of every sentence, you find yourself asking, how does she know that? Is this true? I know that she's in those spaces and things like that, whatever. But when she goes on those crazy rants on YouTube podcast, it's different. No, because no one's watching. Not everyone is watching that person's YouTube podcast show. So not everybody subscribed to that person, or not everybody, again, has the access to seeing those videos. Those videos don't reach certain spaces. But when she stepped on a national television set and said names that she has said before, again on podcasts though, YouTube podcasts, that are irrelevant. You are now on national television and you are saying big ass names with some big ass accusations. So when everybody was saying, oh, I'm sitting back talking about I can't wait to see what J and B say. First of all, Jay-Z and Beyonce were never outright going to directly say anything to a lunatic. They were never going to do that. And the reason they were never going to do that is because they simply hit her with a cease and desist. Why? Because everything that Jaguar was saying was a lie. That's why Pierce Morgan had to get on his television show the next day. They had to cut that entire recording. It's not up anymore. They had to get rid of that recording unless it's, you find it somebody that's republished it or whatever. But you can't find it. He had to get on there, apologize, and say that she lied. They are apologizing for airing those lies, and that they are going to move on from there. So, no, Jaguar Wright is not the one to be believing. I don't really know if I believe her when she says that Denzel is involved or any of the other shit, the crazy shit that she has said before. Now, there's been some shit that she has said that I do say, like, okay, that seems really believable, but there's been some crazy shit that she has said where I'm like, nah, bitch, how the fuck do you know that? So yeah, I'd be careful with some of that shit that's coming out from Jag. Paul said maybe Denzel doesn't want to be locked down to a recurring character. They should cast his son John David as T'Challa. Armor Wars confirmed cancel. Luke is asking that question, not from Marvel Studios, but we're going to get into that. I think that's the next thing, actually. So, yeah. And Justin said, this ain't happening. Wake up, people. Yeah, no, I don't think anybody is saying that this is happening. I don't think anybody is saying anytime a scoop or anytime a scooper says anything that they're officially saying that it's happening. It's a good speculation, and because we are in this space, we can theorize off of it, but nobody's sitting saying that, yeah, Denzel Washington is about to come on and be Dormammu. Until it comes from Marvel Studios, it is simply a rumor. That's all. It is simply a rumor that is getting covered on spaces that we are in. That is all. So until you hear it from Marvel Studios, continue to believe that it's a rumor. Sophia said she's the biggest liar, and I think with a grain of salt. Let's see. Johnny Washington said, I feel like I'm living an episode of the Boondocks. None of this shit seems real. LOL. Yeah. All right. Now, let's move to what is going on with Armor Wars. Now, for a long time, I have been saying that Armor Wars is not happening. Armor Wars is going to be canceled. Exile Scooper had put out a couple months ago that it had been quietly canceled. And I had said around that time that I completely believed that. This is another show, well, a show at the time in 2020 when it was announced at D23. It was going to be a TV show, then it turned movie after they realized, hey, this is too big of a deal for us to be making it a 6-episode Disney Plus show. It needs to have the magnitude of the silver screen, so we're going to put it in theaters. Don Cheadle was obviously going to be coming back as War Machine. The events of that terrible, terrible, terrible fucking show, Secret Invasion, were going to bleed into Armor Wars. It was supposed to be adapting even the Armor Wars comics. We were supposed to be seeing all types of Iron Man villains, same villains that were after Stark Tech in the comics. One of the ones that I was really excited about seeing possibly was Crimson Dynamo. Ones that seems like all of that is now going to the wayside. Some of the other rumors that were with it was that Ultron was going to be joining the film. And a long time ago when Ultron was rumored to be joining, again, this is when I talk about those rumors and things that the Scoopers had said. Scoopers had said months and months and months ago that Ultron was either going to be in Armor Wars or he was going to be in Vision Quest. Well, they got it right. He is in Vision Quest. Some of the things that were going to be happening in Armor Wars have now been reestablished and are now going to be done in Vision Quest. But Don Cheadle recently discussed it, and this is what he had to say. Don Cheadle recently spoke about the status of Armor Wars for the Marvel Cinematic Universe project set to star his character War Machine. The project has been in limbo for a few years now, and the cancellation rumors have recently begun to circulate. Now, again, with it being rumored to be canceled for a few years now, let's take ourselves back to 2020. Every project except for Blade and Armor Wars are either done, seen production, done with production, seen the light of day on Disney Plus or whatever, have seen it and made it to the theaters. These two are the only two that have not gotten off the ground. And what is the difference between these two and the others? What makes these two different from all the other projects that have gotten announced in 2020, have seen the light of day, have gone to digital, have been on Disney Plus, have had discussions surrounding them? What is the difference in those projects and these two? Let that be the puzzle for while we read the rest of this article. Goes on to say, TV Line spoke with Cheadle about the polarizing ending of the Disney Plus/Marvel series Secret Invasion and the implications it could have for his character in the story of Armor Wars. Unfortunately for fans of the project, Cheadle didn't have much knowledge about the current status of the project, which is fucking sad. 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. 5 years and your lead actor can't give you any type of thing about the project. Some of you could be saying, oh, Darius, he's just playing coy for the interview. He's not trying to give anything else. He's not trying to give anything out about the project. Bullshit. He doesn't know anything about the project because Marvel themselves have not sat down and talked to him about anything involving the project. The last thing they probably told him about this project is that the events from Secret Invasion were going to bleed into his film, because that's really the only thing that he can tell you about is that Secret Invasion was going to bleed into that film, and the events of that were going to have implications on his character. He says that in this interview. As far outside of that, he can't tell you anything else about this project because he doesn't know anything about this project. Then it goes on to say, Cheadle didn't have much knowledge about the current status of the project. When asked where Armor Wars stands, Cheadle replied, "You can find out and let me know." The project was originally announced as a 6-episode Disney Plus series in 2020, and in September 2022, it was reconfigured to be a feature film. When asked by TV Line about the update of Armor Wars being switched from TV series to a movie, Cheeto replied, I think the word that's the most salient in this sentence is switched. I don't know. I'm not sure where anything is right now. I think things are going through a lot of changes, and I do believe that. I do believe, obviously, things are going through a lot of changes because they looked at phases 4, they looked at phases 5, and they said, holy shit, this is ugly. Most of the projects put out during those phases are all shit on the ground, so we've got to reconfigure this. That's why Captain America, which we're going to get to, is having the poor test screenings that it's having, because guys, they have reshot that thing over and over and over and over and over. It is so reshot that I don't even think it is the original of what it was going to be. Actually, I know it's not. If you take yourself back to some of the rumors that we covered, by the way, there was a one point in time that Moon Knight was going to be in this. There was one point in time that the Incredible Hulk was still somewhat rumored to be in it, but was going to be in it. She-Hulk was going to be in it. Scar was going to be in it. Those I really believed those rumors. And why did I believe those rumors? Because one of the post-credit scenes that is going to be taking place in Captain America Brave New World is supposed to set up World War Hulk. What we knew about the Hulks being a part of the film at that time is the same thing. It was supposed to set up the World War Hulk theme. So they reshot all that, took a lot of those elements out, took out where it was strictly going to be the Serpent Society, added the Red Hulk and everything else that they did to really jazz this film up, and it still is not doing well. So I really believe that a lot of things over at Marvel Studios are changing, i.e. one of them being Armor Wars being just completely canceled. The film is not happening. They're not going to do the film because the elements that they are taking from Armor Wars are just going to strictly put in Vision Quest. We'll see Don Cheadle. Will it be in Vision Quest? I don't know. Will it be what project he's going to pop back up in? I'm not really sure. It's not going to be his own individual Armor Wars. His story will continue elsewhere. It's not going to be his own film. The rumored story for Armor Wars focused on James Rhodes' War Machine, played by Cheadle, as he protects the late Tony Stark's technology and legacy. The recent rumors of potential delays and cancellation regarding the project may signal Marvel is shifting its priorities when it comes to upcoming MCU releases. Well, Black stories were never a priority over at Marvel Studios, i.e. why Blade is never going to see the light of day and why Armor Wars has been silently canceled for quite some time. Another point with this was, if you remember some of the older rumors, and this could have been, and I believe this, and when it comes to some of these rumors too, this is old though, when it comes to Armor Wars. I don't know if any of you guys remember. Do you remember that Riri Williams was supposed to be a part of this? Do you remember that rumor that had Riri Williams, Ironheart, being a part of this, and that it was the Stark Tech she was going to be helping to protect, and things like that, and how they were going to have her set up to go on. She had some type of connection to Kang. You remember all that? This would be when the Kang shit was going on. She had some type of connection to Kang, and there was the tech and all that. That element of it, I'm really glad they're not doing any longer. And why do I believe that? Because that just smells like Phase 4. That storytelling, that bullshit, none of it making sense. It just smells like Phase 4. Even if you take yourself to what Bo DeMayo was saying just a couple of weeks ago in his little OnlyFans videos, Q&As he was doing, when he said that there was a certain executive that was in the room that thought that they were better than the comics, that they knew more than the comics. That I think he even said that they wanted to ship Wolverine and Emma Frost together at one point. There was a bunch of weird things that executive wanted to do. So that even lines up with some of the weird shit we were seeing in Phase 4. Why Phase 4 was so campy, why Phase 4 was so shit on the ground, and why no one really cared about Marvel, and why Marvel is in the current hole that they are in. So I do believe that. I believe a lot of things are changing. I believe that they have tried to make shift and priorities and things like that. And again, Armor Wars, just one of those that just was never a priority. And then for Secret Invasion, it says that, well, actually, this is not Don talking here, so I really don't care. So Secret Invasion, keep calling it Secret Invasion. Armor Wars is never going to see the light of day. It's a project that, honestly, I could give a good goddamn about anymore. I don't care if it happens. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. As long as they're doing projects that are not getting us closer to Secret Wars, and I feel like a lot of this shit, even Captain America 4, which we're going to talk about next, is filler. It's a prelude to what we really want to get to, and that is the multiversal shit. That is, for me, Fantastic Four, the Avengers 5, Avengers 6, Spider-Man 4, the Dooms, the rumored Battle World films. That's the stuff. This shit, at one point I cared. Maybe in 2020, maybe in 2021, in 2022, even when you announced it as a movie, I still cared. In 2024, 5 years later, I don't give a flying fluffy shit if this comes out on Disney Plus or if it comes out theatrically. And, and like I said, when Don said that, that was my cousin saying, this isn't happening. I don't know anything about this film. I can't tell you anything about it because they haven't told me anything about it. And I'm not going to get up here and badmouth them or make it seem like I'm bitter, because at the end of the day, I'm trying to keep my job. Don Cheadle is 60 years old, or about to be 60 years old. 59, I think, when we looked it up or whatever. I'm cool on brother being War Machine. I'm good on it. I'm good. So if we don't get that film, that's fine. We see him and he ends his run as Rhodey War Machine in the MCU with Secret Wars. I'm good on that too. But at the end of the day, this film was never happening. So as I've been saying, kind of prep people. I don't know if there were a lot of people in the chat that were really looking forward to Armor Wars. If this was on your top list, if you were really anticipating this, sorry to rain on parades, but this isn't happening. And I want to pin this too with the next rumor, or not rumor, the next announcement we're going to hear. Even though this is not official from Marvel Studios just yet, the next thing we're going to be hearing from the scoopers before it is also official from Marvel Studios is that Mahershala Ali has walked away from his role as Blade, and him and Marvel just have simply parted ways, creative differences or something like that, because that is another film that will not see the light of day. But when it comes to Armor Wars, let me know what you guys are thinking. Do you care if Armor Wars sees the light of day? Did you see this coming from a mile away? Have you always known that this film was not going to happen? And if you are disappointed, what elements are you disappointed about? And then again, like I said, they are going to take elements or whatever they were going to do in this film, a lot of what they were going to do in this film, and adapt it into Vision Quest and other parts of the MCU. So let me know what you guys are thinking down below. Let's see. Professor the Film Fan, appreciate you being here. Sophia said they're black. I said what I said. No, you're right. They're black. That's why. That's why. Bingo. Yahtzee. Uno. They're black. Scooby Lucci Doo said Marvel clearly needs to slow the F down. I would say that I'm going to really agree with that. I know we talk about a lot of times like, damn, by the time that comes out, I'm going to be this age. And by the time that comes out, I'm going to be this age. I'm going to be honest with you. Does it not feel like we are rushing to one of Marvel's biggest comic events ever, if not their biggest comic event ever, Secret Wars? We are rushing to Secret Wars. If we're to believe these rumors, if the stuff still comes out, well, that's not even a rumor. That's official from Marvel Studios. If we are to believe, thank you for whoever sent that super chat. Paul, I'll get to that in just a second. I appreciate that. But if we were to believe the rumor about Secret Wars really being 2027? That is 2 years from now. 2 years from now, we are supposed to see Avengers 6 before that. I'm sorry, Avengers 5 before that. The Fantastic Four before that. The rumored Scarlet Witch film before that. Spider-Man 4 before that. Doctor Strange 3 before that. That's a bit to do. It's a bit to do. A lot of characters to establish. A lot of loose ends to plug up. Yep, it's a bit to do. Let's see. Brother Stark said, Armor No Mores. Can Don Cheadle at least lead the West Coast Avengers, since they are definitely canceling his movie? I hate they made him into a cameo in everybody else's shit. Yeah, it's a character that has been in the MCU since Iron Man 2. Well over 10 years. Well over 10 years, and yet he still can't even, and he still can't even get his own film. Still can't even get his own film. Stamina said, Cat 4 is a cinematic ship of Theseus. If you know, you know. The Lawrence Report said, too many Hulks in Cap 4. I said that shit then when the rumor and I still, even if they were to do it, that's not something I wanted to see. Personally, I don't know if everybody else was on board with all the Hulks when that rumor was a rumor. I was never on board with that. Bruce, She-Hulk. At the time of that rumor, you had Bruce, you had She-Hulk, you had Scar, you had the rumored Avengers team that Sam was supposed to be building. You had Joaquin, you had Red Hulk, you had the leader, you had Sabra. You had so many. This is why the Cap film is so botched. You had so much going on in Cap because they're trying, bro. Let me save it. They're trying to take your attention away from the fact that Sam Wilson's fucking Captain America and fucking Anthony Mackie is leading a film. I'm telling you, bro. I promise you, if you're leaning on the fact that Captain America 4. If you think Captain America 4 is going to be that film that signifies the MCU is back, you're going to be disappointed in February. Scooby Dooby Looch said, or Scooby Luchy Doo said, Marvel should have made a series that dealt with the 5-year snap era. That would have showed things done like WandaVision kind of did. Also, She-Hulk would have walked into that era also. Yeah, I agree. They could have done She-Hulk a lot better. Let's see. We're going to skip down a little bit to Paul. Paul said, I definitely don't care about Armor Wars. Yeah, I don't think anybody really does besides the Armor Wars News Twitter page. I don't even think they really care anymore. Brother Stark said they closed the door on it too soon. Tony said Armor Wars gets shelved faster than Bad Boy Artist. Dan the Man said, holy shit, glad someone said something about Mahershala Ali leaving. Cast Ronnie from Raising Cain as him instead. Xavier said, I wouldn't blame Ali from walking away. He's been jerked around for far too long. Oh yeah, I definitely wouldn't. I don't blame him at all. John C., appreciate you being here. What is going on? Sophia said, in the first Black Panther gave black people way too much pride. So when the king died, all black characters died. And they definitely shouldn't have went that way. Stamina said, been saying Secret Wars is arriving prematurely for a long time. We've known it was a thing, me no liking. Antonio Film said they're going to ruin Doom if RDJ is the definitive Dune, and they only use him 2 out of 3 times with little interaction with Reed. Yeah, so on that, we kind of talked about that last week. So as we know, RDJ as Doom is going to be done after Secret Wars. Like, he will not continue on as Doom. They will recast Doom at some point in time in the MCU. I doubt it will be immediate since they are going to be ending the multiversal saga with that big bad. I don't see Marvel picking up the next rumored soft reboot with Victor Von Doom, with someone else casted as him. So yes, the taste of Doom, of RDJ Doom, is going to be in our mouths for quite some time, as I don't think we're going to see another character or another actor portraying that role for a while. I don't see him as the next big bad. If we're to believe the rumors that X-Men are going to be the next saga, the mutant saga, well, Doom wouldn't be that villain anyway. And again, more rumors. If we're to believe the rumors and scoopers from Daniel RPK, My Time to Shine, and the rest of them, Sinister is going to be the villain of the mutant saga. So no, Doom, the taste of RDJ as Doom, that's going to be the taste that's going to be in your mouth right now. Marvel is still cooking in that same old dirty kitchen that they cooked in phases 4 and 5. So whatever they're feeding us in these next few projects, it's still going to have that dirty ass kitchen taste to it. So get ready to have that nasty ass, unseasoned, unwashed, eaten on dirty tables taste, because that's what it is. RDJ is going to, I'm not saying that RDJ obviously is a bad actor. He's not at all, like, period, never. I don't want him as Doom. And obviously I need to see it first, but the whole connections that they're trying to do, because this is the MCU, so this is what it's going to be. They're not going to have Doom have these major connections to Reed Richards the way he does in Marvel Comics. You know, the way that they built that up to Secret Wars with Doom and Reed, that's not happening in the MCU. Instead, it's going to be between Spider-Man, Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and between RDJ's Doctor Doom. From what we know so far, RDJ's Doom is still going to obviously look like Tony Stark from within the MCU. So what better way in the MCU's eyes, and this is not my story, what better way for our heroes to, go up against this big bad? They are going up against a big bad that looks identical to the person that saved our universe, to the godfather of the MCU, the person that we revere and look at as, blah, 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 blah. So as Spider-Man, Tom Holland's Spider-Man, that was my mentor. I was crushed when he died. I didn't know how I was going to go on, without him. And now this villain, this new multiversal threat, looks exactly like my mentor, looks exactly like my buddy, as the other Avengers might be saying, or whatever. So now we've got to X, Y, and Z. That's the MCU story that we're hearing. So it's going to be between Tom and we've known this for now. We haven't known about the Doom stuff between Tom, but we've known that Tom Holland's Spider-Man was going to be an essential part of the story that they're telling. That anchor being, because he's going to be the anchor being of the MCU, it's going to be a essential part of the storytelling aspect of Secret Wars for quite some time. We knew that before we even saw Deadpool and Wolverine. Months and months and months before I want to say maybe a year before we saw Deadpool and Wolverine. That's when Can We Get Some Toast was really rampant on Twitter before Marvel hit them with that cease and desist. Can We Get Some Toast had tweeted that out a long time ago, that Spider-Man, Tom Holland Spider-Man, Tobey Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, and a couple other characters were going to play key roles in Avengers 5 and 6. Tom Holland's Spider-Man being one of the key main characters of Avengers 5 and 6. And that has stuck. So back to when I was saying earlier that some of these rumors stick and some of this shit is actually true, that's one of them. That shit was rumored a long time ago with Tom. So this is not new with Tom Holland's Spider-Man being the essential piece. Now this added stuff with Doom, that's new, because he was going to be an essential piece even with Kang being the big bad. So this stuff with Tom Holland is not new. Do I like it? Does it make sense within the MCU stuff? Of course it makes sense within the MCU stuff, because if they're going off of that storyline, well, he looks like my mentor, well, that makes sense within the MCU. Does it make sense within the characters? No. But this is the MCU. I'm not making excuses for it, but that's the MCU. We know that they are going to make their version of whatever they want it to be. They will take elements from the comics, but it's not going to be identical. And with the storylines that they've got so far in the MCU, Victor is going to be from the Fantastic Four's universe, but he's not really going to have interactions with Reed and them like that. The rivalry, the college rivalry that started in their college years between Victor and Reed is not going to be existent in the MCU. So that's not going to happen. So let's see. Who said that? That was Antonio that said that. Black Panther said, I said in the beginning, I think Cap 4 is a backdoor Hulk movie. Basically, I mean, it's going to lead into some big implications for Hulk. I believe, I don't know if Mark Ruffalo's Hulk is going to officially turn back into Savage Hulk in Cap 4. I don't think so. But, Anthony Mackie did say that it's kind of spoiled that the Hulk is in this. We have not seen him in any trailers or anything. I believe that Marvel is being very smart and strategic with it and trying to keep him out and really keeping Mark Ruffalo away from interviews and things like that. But I do believe he probably is in it. Again, will he be Savage Hulk, or is he going to be passing out tacos wearing flannels? I don't know. I don't know. Stamina said, more like slapped in America, hodgepodge nonsense. Falcon said, I agree with you, but I have a feeling it would do somewhat decent, seeing that if Marvel movie decent, seeing that it is a Marvel movie in a minute. Raymond said, I don't think Secret Wars is premature. I mean, people are getting older or sick and dying. I think this is the perfect time to do it with a lot of Marvel greats that are still with us. And see, that is another element of it. You do have people getting older. Time doesn't wait for anyone. And that is true. That is true, That's true. That's true. He went on to say, I think had this saga led with Secret Wars been planned and organized correctly without involvement of Chapek and stupid decisions by Marvel, I think this could have bested the Infinity Saga. It could have. It could have. Let's see. Stamina said, I don't want to taste RDJ. Thanks, Darius. Xavier's laughing. Johnny said, I don't think it's a good idea to rush the movie out just because we want it. You don't want to get a Joker 2 situation. It's hard to make a good film if the writing's not there. Scrap it or take more time. Agree? John C says, I'm getting very anxious about this next phase. I feel like I should lower my expectations and take the edge off. Definitely do that, brother. You know, I feel like that's the way. I'm going to be honest with you. I know a lot of y'all don't give a shit. And I really don't either, outside of the Wanda stuff, the Billy stuff, the stuff that's leading to the Scarlet Witch film, the stuff that's leading to the Children's Crusade adaptation in the MCU, the stuff that's leading to the roster that's going to be the Young Avengers. Shit I've been talking about on this channel for a long time when it comes to Wanda. I feel like the bitch from Titanic. I've been waiting 80 years. I've been waiting a long time for this. I'm excited. I have been waiting. I've been saying since WandaVision, bro, this is going to Children's Crusade, Young Avengers, all that shit. So I'm excited for that. Outside of that element in Agatha, I'm simply just having fun. And the reason I'm having fun is because I took the edge off. I don't care. I have no expectations. That shit that happened with Billy last week, I had no expectations. It was cool. I was like, oh, dope. Okay, now we're mentioning Wanda. We're mentioning Mother. He's not Nicholas Scratch. He's Billy Kaplan, not Maximoff. Don't let these trailers and shit fool you that Marvel's putting out, calling him Billy Maximoff. It's Billy Kaplan. They're going to reveal that. But all this shit that's going on, like, I've been really excited for this. Outside of that, I don't care about Agatha. I'm just having fun with Agatha. I'm not looking forward to Agatha week to week. I mean, yeah, it comes out Wednesday. I don't even think I watched it last Wednesday. I think I watched it the next day. Like, it's not a show. It's not. That's the way I'm approaching the MCU right now. I have no expectations right now. Like, Cap 4, I'll see it. I have no expectations for it. Thunderbolts, I said this the last time. If you put Cap 4 in one hand and the Thunderbolts in the other, I'm going to go see the Thunderbolts before I go see Cap 4. The Thunderbolts trailer just looks more fun. And if do I want to have fun or do I want to critique something the whole fucking time? I'm going to go have fun with the goddamn miscreants and the Thunderbolts. Fuck Cap 4. Fuck what they're doing in Cap. You wanted to cancel something? You wanted to quietly cancel something? You know how much money they have fucking spent on Cap 4? They have spent so much money on Cap 4. You know how much money they spent on Agatha? Not shit. Not shit was spent on Agatha. Everyone, including Catherine Hahn, everyone involved over at Agatha probably got to buy, I don't know, a paycheck enough for rent. They're not getting paid over at Agatha. Agatha is not really a big to-do for them like that. But Captain America 4, they're throwing the fucking ship at. It's because all the reshoots that they've done. How much did they say Cap 4 cost? I forgot. It was that whole article that came out that talked about how much Cap 4 cost. I remember it was a lot for the test screenings. Let's go ahead and get into that. For the test screenings and shit to come back the way that they're coming. This starts with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That's where this starts. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And I know that there were fans of that show in this chat. That show is shit. It is absolutely terrible. The plot's terrible, and that's not the fault of the shows. Obviously, you had the pandemic going on at one point in the show. You had something called something pandemic that was too close to home with what was currently going on in the real world. You just had a lot of different things going on within Falcon Winter Soldier that just took away from what the original story for keep calling it that. The original story for Falcon Winter Soldier was going to be. Falcon Winter Soldier was just a terrible show, and that's just point blank period on it. And it did little, if nothing. I don't know. Maybe I'm just speaking for myself. Let me ask you, chat. How excited did you get for Captain America 4 Sam Wilson after seeing Falcon and Winter Soldier? After watching Falcon and Winter Soldier, were you episode to episode saying, God, I can't wait for Cap 4? That's my captain. Captain, my captain. God, he's Captain America. No one was saying that. No one was saying, and even in Marvel Comics, I'm not even sure why they did it in Marvel Comics. I'm not sure why Sam Wilson. I get it, all new, all different Marvel, so everybody can see themselves and blah blah, that whole theme. I'm not sure why Sam Wilson was, because there are no stories there. The difference from people tell you to support Sam Wilson as Captain America, being as he's the current black hero and he has a film coming out. I remember a tweet that said, why are you guys putting so much support on a black hero that's not even getting a film, a black hero that's dead? I understand how important he is, but he is not the black character in the MCU right now. We should be focusing on Sam Wilson and giving our support to him. Wrong. And the reason you're wrong is because Sam Wilson has no stories. There are no stories there when it comes to Sam Wilson. There are no stories there when it comes to him as Captain America. There are no stories that are substantial, that have weight when it comes to that character that people are wanting to see played out on the big screen or connected to like that. The difference in Sam Wilson and T'Challa is T'Challa has those stories. T'Challa has a plethora of stories that you can go on journeys with T'Challa with. And the difference in him and Sam is that he was the first black hero. Sam is a derivative character. Sam is a character that is based off of the white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed Captain America. T'Challa is his own character, the king of his own goddamn nation. He doesn't need to be based off of anyone, but you needed to base Sam off of someone in order to try to get some type of interest from people in him. I'm sorry, I don't think that there are people in the comic world or in the MCU world, casuals or not, that are interested in seeing Sam Wilson, Anthony Mackie as Captain America. I think that when they did it in Endgame was a big fail. I think that they thought that they really were doing a service to Anthony Mackie as an actor, and hey, we're really trying to prop you up and do this and do that and escort Sam in and have him be the new Captain America, but I don't think they really thought that shit through. You're talking about an inconsequential character that nobody really gives a flying shit about. No one. No one. So when you hear things like Captain America Brave New World bombs at test screenings, who's shocked? I'm not. Who's shocked? Because there's no one should be shocked by headlines like this. These headlines, I'm sorry to say, I don't think it's going to be Joker 2 headlines for Captain America Brave New World, but it's going to be damn close. No one's walking out of the theater. I don't think anybody's going to outright walk out of the theater because we read the plot leak. It is a simple Phase 4 MCU film. That's what it felt like. It felt like a simple Phase 4. We're the reason that you're still getting that Phase 4 feel from Captain America Brave New World is because this film was filming during that phase. During Phases 4 and during Phases 5. So when it was filming, going through all the fucking reshoots that it was going through, all the rewrites that it was going through, all the new characters that it was going through, all the new elements to Sam and take this away and add this to Sam that it was going through, you now get this bomb test screens that you're getting. It's been botched. It's got that Phase 4 stunk on it. And it's going to continue to have that Phase 4 stunk on it until... I don't think we're out of the woods until we get past Brave New World. I don't think we're out of the woods till we get to Fantastic Four. Let me put it that way. Fantastic Four is going to be that I think we might be out of the woods film. Captain America Brave New World, we're not out of the woods because it still has that Phase 4 stink. Thunderbolts, you're going to have fun, but it's still going to have that Phase 4 stink. So... I'm not shocked with headlines when it says and we read this Thursday. I'm going to read it again. I'm not shocked with these headlines, but it says it's been 6 years since Steve Rogers handed over Captain America's reins to Sam Wilson, aka the Falcon. Avengers Endgame, Wilson Anthony Mackie will be the lead of Julius Ona's Captain America Brave New World. A trailer was released in the summer. Now, before we finish that, the trailer that was released, everyone said that it gave, when they first saw it at the little premiere that they did at whatever con it was, that they were given Winter Soldier vibes. That they left thinking, oh, this is some good shit. And some of you in this chat, I'm not going to say any names, but some of you in this chat even told me, after I posted my reaction to the trailer, Darius, I don't know what you're talking about. That definitely gave me Winter Soldier vibes. Well,
If that gave you Winter Soldier vibes, we watched two completely different Winter Soldier films, because that didn't give me Winter Soldier vibes. That gave me I want to be Winter Soldier vibes. That gave me we're trying really hard to give you Winter Soldier vibes, but we're not giving you Winter Soldier vibes. The trailer that they released in the summer didn't do that. Now they're going to release another one. They're going to release one final trailer, because I remember a lot of you telling me that too. It's just the first trailer, Darius. Give it some time. Let the full trailer come out. I'm going to hold you to that. I'm going to hold you to that. I'm going to give you that full trailer. When that full trailer comes out, whenever it does drop, I'm still not going to have Winter Soldier vibes. If they're not getting Winter Soldier vibes from the test screenings, I'm not going to get Winter Soldier vibes from a 2-minute trailer. There were 2 screenings shown of this shit. Both screenings were shit. 2 different screenings, 2 different films, 2 different elements, 2 different audiences. 2 different piles of shit. That's what Marvel's delivering with Captain America Brave New World. Goes on to say 2 different cuts of the film test screened last week. Plot details for one of the cuts have leaked online, as the plot leak we read. The person who attended didn't seem to like the movie that much. Based on the folks I've spoken to, those who attended who were either given a green or a red bracelet, and were split up into 2 different theaters. The reactions I've heard have not been very kind to this movie, which is being described as inessential and flat. And I said this when we talked about it on the Pantheon. Inessential and flat are not 2 words you want to hear about a film that's supposed to be giving you Winter Soldier vibes. About a film that your leading man is supposed to go on to co-lead the Avengers. A film that your leading man, who once again, we've talked about this many, many, many times, is powerless. No super soldier serum, no nothing. So much so that they had to dumb the Hulk down, the Red Hulk, in order for the fight to make sense. We read that in the plot leak. They go on to say, based on the folks I've spoken to, those who attended were read that part. Inessential and flat. Yeah, let me re-up on that part, the inessential and flat. Those aren't 2 words you want to be hearing about this film. Inessential. What we were being told was Captain America Brave New World was supposed to be a film that was extremely important to moving forward within the MCU. A film that was supposed to be extremely important coming off of the heels of Deadpool and Wolverine. But what we're hearing now from test audiences is that it's inessential and flat. Okay. You can read the leaked plot points above, or if you don't want things to get spoiled for you, here's an official synopsis that they unveiled in July. I'm not going to read the plot leak because I know there's a lot of people that don't want it spoiled for them. We already read it. If you want to hear it, you can go back and watch that live stream. Goes on to say, after meeting with newly elected U.S. President Thaddeus Ross, played by Harrison Ford in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, in his Marvel Cinematic Universe debut, Sam finds himself in the middle of an international incident. He must discover the reasons behind the nefarious global plot before the true mastermind has the entire world seeing red. Reshoots on Brave New World happened in August. This could explain why 2 different cuts were shown last year after receiving negative test screens in another screening, and Marvel themselves being underwhelmed. I remember that shit last August. Yes, I remember when that article came out, when it was saying that Marvel was not even happy with what they had seen. That's what caused the many reshoots that they did. After they sat down and watched that shit, they were even throwing up after eating some of the shit left over from Phase 4. From Phase 4, leftover fucking kitchen. They weren't even happy with it. That's why they did the reshoots. So Marvel themselves, underwhelmed by an early cut they saw of the film, Brave New World was delayed to February 2025. That's right, I forgot that even happened. It got a new release date. Exclusive reshoots were called with 3 major action sequences, having been filmed between May and August 2024 in Atlanta. I remember that. There's just so much that's gone on. You forget shit, but I do remember that. Brave New World had originally wrapped filming in June 2023 and set for a July 2024 release date, but it's now turned into a monstrous mess for Marvel. You just don't push a movie this big out of your calendar and then decide to dump it in February unless major trouble is brewing. Last December, Matthew Orton was hired on by Marvel to pen the additional scenes and material. Orton's work was shot during the summer reshoots. They've added new characters to the story. Will audiences even show up to Captain America
movie that doesn't star Chris Evans. Brave New World, which is said to be an epic, there it is, $350 million budget. $350 million budget. Okay. Starring Anthony Mackie, Liv Taylor, Harrison Ford, I'm not butchering her name, and Tim Blake Nelson, is set to release in theaters February 14th, Valentine's Day, 2024. Well, you can release it on the day of love if you want to. It's going to get none of that. It's going to get no love at all. No love is going to... Now, am I going to see Captain America 4? Of course. Am I going to see it February 4th, probably the day before in a little premiere showing? Of course. Of course I'm going to go see it. I want to see what the fuck they're doing, and I want to have my own mind made up. Is it going to be good? Is it not going to be good? You know how I feel about Anthony Mackie, so I really don't care about him as a leading man. But I'm not shocked when I hear any of these things. I'm not shocked reading this article. I'm just not. I'm not. This is a film that they've been working on for a very long time. It's gone through, as you saw, the extensive reshoot, $350 million, adding this person, adding that person, cutting this person, cutting that person, adding this writer, cutting that writer. It's got a big to do, and it's not going to do. So, but again, question is for you guys. Let me know down below in the comments what you guys are thinking. Do you think that Captain America Brave New World is actually going to stun audiences, or do you think, like they asked at the very last, you think audiences will even show up to a Captain America film that doesn't star Chris Evans? And we've had this talk before, so let me know that down below in the comments. But we've had this talk before as far as these actors going on to portray different roles and how we can't hold these actors to some of these roles forever and ever and ever. And I'm not saying that Chris Evans is not Captain America. I'm not saying that someone else can't play that role. Or I'm not saying that Chris Evans is Captain America. No one else can play that role. I'm simply saying Sam Wilson is not an attractive Captain America in comics. So I don't know why you fucking thought that was going to translate to the films. So it has nothing to do with I'm black and he's black. It has nothing to do with him being, a black Captain America. It's the simple fact that is a derivative character that no one gives a fuck about. Why? Better. If I'm going to the store, bro, and they've got the Fruity Pebbles with the Flintstones on it, then they've got the Fruity Dino Bites or whatever with the dinosaurs, the little drawn-on dinosaurs by some kindergartners on the cover. Why would I want the Fruity Dino Bites when I could have the real thing? The Fruity Pebbles. The actual thing comes in the actual box. It's got the Flintstones, actual label, Post Oaks, all that shit. Why would I want that one? So it's the same thing here. Why would I want Sam Wilson's derivative character, sidekick Sam Wilson? I like Sam better as Falcon in the MCU. Don't really, whatever. I liked him better as Falcon in the MCU. On the left, other than him portraying being Captain America in the MCU. So I just, out of the two choices, the Great Value version or the actual Post Oaks, I'm going to go with the Post Oaks. I'm not going to go with the Great Valued version, Sam Wilson. Let's see what you guys are thinking about Captain America. Let's see. Lots of things said there. Raymond asked me, how is Falcon and the Winter Soldier terrible, but Agatha is okay? Brother, have you watched Agatha yet? Here's the thing about Agatha that it wasn't plagued with rewrites. Agatha wasn't plagued with rewrites. Agatha wasn't plagued with a terrible story. Agatha is literally a continuation of one of Marvel's best Disney Plus series, and that's WandaVision. Now, is it a continuation of what's going on with Wanda? Exactly to the point with Wanda? No, but you've got her son in there. So the people that were already intrigued with where that story was going with her kids and all of that stuff, you've got that audience there. Then you've got the audience that already liked Agatha, Catherine Hahn's portrayal of Agatha, and then you have her being the leading character in the show. Well, then you've got that audience. Well, now you've got also the audience that likes the magic side of things, the spooky side of things, which is also a really fun Halloween show to get into. We're in the spooky season right now. You've got that audience. With Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the first episode, you had an audience. You did. You had me.
that was coming off of the heels of what? Was it Loki we were coming off the heels of with Falcon and Winter Soldier? I believe it was. Coming off the heels of Loki, coming off the heels of WandaVision, coming off the heels of what was seemingly a good time in the MCU. You had all of us. But then you had that shit story. And I get it. You had to rewrite it because of the pandemic. But there should have been some better rewrites going on than that being the story that was being told. That story was awful. There were elements of Falcon and Winter Soldier that I really enjoyed. Isaiah, I really enjoyed. His backstory, the conversation he had with Sam, the scene between Sam, Bucky, and the police officer. I'm hard pressed on finding other good scenes, but there were some good scenes in Falcon Winter Soldier. There were good elements in Falcon Winter Soldier. But when I look back at Falcon Winter Soldier as a whole, it gets an F. It's just not a good show. It falls flat. What did they say about this film up here? It's inessential, and that's exactly what Falcon Winter Soldier was. Inessential. It was inessential. Nothing came from Falcon Winter Soldier. Nothing came from it outside of the fact that Sam now has a new suit. We know that there were some teenage kids out here running around beating the fuck out of Sam, called the Flag Smashers. We saw that, okay, we got introduced to John Walker. He's now a part of the Thunderbolts. Yeehaw. Isaiah is going to get brainwashed in Cap 4. He's still around. But outside of that, what did we really get from Falcon and Winter Soldier? I'll leave you with that one. Tell me what we really got from Falcon Winter Soldier. Like what came out of that that's like, fuck, I can't wait to see that play out in the MCU. I don't think anything, but you let me know. Raptor Cloak said, U.S. Agent and Isaiah are the only rewatch values that show had. Falcon is too damn preachy now. Brother Stark said 350 to 375 million to shoot Brave New World. They need to make more than 700 million to break even. And it's not. It's not. I'm telling you, it's not. It's not. Scooby Lucci Doo said, I'll admit I haven't read Sam Wilson Captain America stories, but are there any stories that stand out? No. Maybe the first one. I would say probably the introduction to Sam Wilson in the Ultimates universe. Probably that. But you got to remember, this is the time. That's around the time I stopped reading Marvel comics. All New, All Different Marvel was when I was like, oh no, what is this shit? But probably that's probably the most interesting. I mean, if you call that interesting, it's probably the most interesting. No More Champagne said, after realizing that they weren't going to give him the serum, I was out completely on Captain Mackie. Yeah, bro. Why does he not have the serum? There is a version of Sam Wilson that has the serum. Why he does not have the serum, I don't know. This is a powerless man that is about to co-lead with Carol Danvers. Co-lead the Avengers with Captain Marvel. One of the most What? Stamina said, the difference is it's a matter of delivering on the show's promise. Talking to Ramek, succeeding at what you attempted. Falcon and Winter Soldier was responsible for much more, so the disappointment can only be greater. Raymond said, after learning of who is in this movie, I'm not shocked. Falcon said, man, I low-key thought after Endgame that Black Panther, Spider-Man, and Captain Marvel should be the faces of the franchise. If you go look at the book that Joanna Robinson wrote, titled The Reign of Marvel, I believe she said that it was Tom Holland. She said it was Tom Holland, Carol Danvers, and at the time, Chadwick Boseman, who all sat around because they were supposed to be, there's articles about this shit too, they were supposed to be the next big three faces that were going to go on to lead the Avengers. They were going to be, T'Challa was going to be a leader, Carol was going to be a leader, Spider-Man was going to be one of the leaders of the Avengers. They were going to go on to be the leaders of the Avengers. But then obviously the untimely death of Chadwick Boseman happened, and a lot of stuff outside. Well, actually not a lot of stuff got shaken up because Carol is still leading. They just replaced T'Challa with Sam. So there you go. That was going to happen, but
No longer. Scooby Lucci Doo said, I seriously feel like we're hitting the comic book bubble of the 90s right now. Gray said, Sam's humanity isn't enough to stop the stank, to stop that stank. You know what? I can't even believe the whole time of talking about this article, I didn't bring that up. I typically bring that up every time I talk about this movie. Anthony Mackie said in an interview, and I talk about this every time. I can't believe I didn't bring it up. The reason that Sam doesn't have the super serum or super soldier serum is simply because, this is Anthony Mackie's words, not mine. Sam Wilson's superpower is his humanity. His humanity is his superpower. So he doesn't need the serum because he's going to beat the Red Hulk with his humanity. So serum be damned. Superpowers be damned. I've got humanity. I'll fight Thaddeus Ross with my humanity. So that's what Anthony Mackie said. So remember that when you sit down in February, that you're not watching Anthony Mackie, Sam Wilson fight with any type of serum. It's only his humanity. Sam Lucci or Scooby Lucci Doo said, but in media form. Let's see. SEAL Team said, I'm happy Armor Wars is canceled. Said bring back Terrence Howard. Let's see. John C said, there's two different piles of shit. Yeah, bro, it really is. He said, y'all save my $20+. Let's see. SEAL Team said the Marvels faced challenges such as the SAG, the strike, and lack of star promotion contributing to its low box office performance. I think that was one of the elements that I think contributed to the Marvel's low box office performance. I think there were other elements outside of that also contributed to the Marvel's low box office performance as well. Obviously, Phase 4, the strike, the fact that people, casual fans, and not just casual fans, Marvel fans do not like Brie Larson as Carol Danvers. That is just a fact. I mean, she is very much aware of that. I talk about this too every time I talk about her as Captain Marvel. There's an interview she did where she was asked, are you doing this was before Captain Marvel 2. You doing Captain Marvel 2? You doing Captain Marvel 2? Where she definitively turned and looked at the camera and said, I don't know. Am I? And she was literally talking to fans because she is very much aware of the unnecessary hatred that she gets as Carol Danvers. And I think it's the hatred that she gets as Carol Danvers is not Brie's fault. It's the writers the writers over there. It's their fault. It's their fault writing Carol the way that they're writing Carol. Because I'm not going to sit here and pretend like Carol Danvers in Marvel Comics is anybody to fuck with. Like, Carol is badass. Depending on who's writing Carol, Carol is dope. She's a bitch. That part they got down. Carol is a bitch, but Carol's dope. So the Carol you get in the MCU, for those that haven't read comics or picked up a comic and seen Carol, I'm sorry that's the Carol that you were introduced to in the MCU. But that is not how Carol is. Let's see. Black Panther said the leader is not a Captain America villain. No, he is not. Remember, the original rumors had this being a Hulk film. Remember, you had all the Hulks and Hulk's villains, i.e. the leader, Red Hulk. They just took out the Hulks, left as villains, because how else are you going to juice up Anthony Mackie as Cap? I'm telling you. Let's see. John C said Giancarlo Esposito may be the only saving grace of Cap 4. I wouldn't even put my money on that one because just from what we've heard, just from that plot leak, he's in the film, but Giancarlo doesn't go on to do a lot. He's playing side. Okay, hold on. He's playing Sidewinder. And he didn't even look like Sidewinder. Obviously, none of the Serpent Society look the way that they look. Obviously, Serpent Society they don't look this way in the MCU. It's the MCU. They're going to botch and do things majorly different from the comics. Sidewinder, Giancarlo's character. He's not, and I'm not saying, okay, just because he doesn't look like that doesn't mean he's not going to have a big to-do in the movie. I'm going off of the plot leak and what they said. They said he's not in it much, and when he is in it, he's just a generic villain spitting out generic villain lines. So yes, Giancarlo got us excited for a potential MCU role that he was doing for years for nothing. Because the last thing he said about this was, yeah, bro, the last thing, y'all remember Giancarlo, the last thing he said was, the character I'm playing is so big that he's going to go on to have a series
after the movie. They're giving Sidewinder a series. Bullshit. And if they are, they're still in that phase 4 mentality. But there's no that you couldn't even on your worst day make me believe that Marvel Studios, that anyone over at Marvel Studios looked at Giancarlo and said, you know what? We're giving you a Sidewinder series when it's all said and done. Okay. So I don't even expect Giancarlo to do a lot, and he's just another name to throw on the poster. Let's see. Brother Stark said, didn't Sam Wilson lose to Bucky, Spider-Man, Crossbones, and fucking Ant-Man? This guy's Captain America. His real name is Clarence. Yeah, no, he has. He lost to Spider-Man. He lost to Crossbones. He lost to Ant-Man before Ant-Man was even an Avenger. And who was the other one that you said? Oh, yeah, and Bucky. And I think you could even say, didn't John kind of give him a couple good hits in Falcon and Winter Soldier? Yeah. That's our captain. No More Champagne said, damn, just call that man Great Value Cap. He is Great Value Cap. That's exactly who he is. Dude just doesn't have the Cap look, in my opinion. Understanding said, I completely agree with you. All right, Raymond's here. Raymond said, here's my thing. I think because we were living in a time, Darius, where the MCU could never do any wrong. Everybody, but see, even now, let me finish reading that part. Everybody was excited about the prospects of Sam as Cap because we knew they'd do it justice. I wasn't excited. I'm gonna be honest with you. Even in Endgame, when Cap said it's yours now, I said, whose? Sam's? Like in the comics? Out of all the comic shit y'all wanted to adapt, that's what you adapted? Oh, you could have kept that in the book. So I was never excited for Sam donning that role because I knew where that went. All new, all different. I'm not. Then he goes on to say, probably even better than the comics. Which I like him as Cap in the comics. So because we had been fed good, we expected the coming new dishes to be phenomenal as well. I like the way you worded it, but I will say this. Even going back, because I'm fully aware. I'm cognizant. I'm not living in a fake bubble anymore. I'm fully aware that I live in a shitty MCU currently. I'm aware of that. And I've come to accept that. I guess that's why I'm not week to week dogging Agatha. Not to say that people that are wrong. I'm just saying I think I've had a release with the MCU. I've had a realization. I've had a come to Jesus that I'm just living in this bullshit right now. So let me just, it's like the dog in the house that's on fire. He's like, it's fine. I'm fine. Everything's fine. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, it's not fine, but it's fine. I'm fine. Everything's fine. That's how I feel in the MCU right now. So knowing that, I still can't even go back and rewatch Falcon and Winter Soldier because I know it's still shit. But I'm cognizant of it being shit in a shitty MCU. So knowing that it's shit, knowing that I'm not expecting it to be phenomenal, even if I go back, because I've gone back and tried to rewatch it in the past, it still gives me that same nasty, gnawing shit taste. I just don't like Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's just not a good film or show. I even thought about this the other day. I just did that video about Kang. I was like, I haven't watched an MCU movie in a minute. Do I kind of want to watch one? Every time I think about watching one, I'm like, no, I don't want to watch one. But I was thinking the other day, let me go watch Quantumania. I couldn't do it. I couldn't bring myself to put Quantumania on the screen. It's because I know it's shit. I can't go back and rewatch it again and again. There were a time, again, you guys know I saw Eternals. It took me 16 watches with the Eternals for me to say it's aggressively okay. I can't have 16 watches with Quantumania. I can't. I can't. And the same thing with Falcon Winter Soldier. It's just a very, very, very bad show. Understanding said, oh no, not I already read that. Professor Film Fan said, I am rooting. I do want to read the rest of what Raymond said. Yeah, the doors, I told you, there were good elements. He said even the doors appeared. That was a good element. I liked when the doors showed up. The Delimelage have jurisdiction wherever the Delimelage find themselves to be. Great line. Io, great. The taking off Bucky's arm, great. The relationship between Bucky and the Dora Milaje that played off of Bucky's time in Wakanda as the White Wolf, fucking great. I loved it. I loved the final scene in that episode where we saw the Kamoyo bead and Bucky picked it up and he knew instantly. Oh fuck! And you heard the drums, the music. Great. I loved it. And not just because it was connected to T'Challa and Wakanda. That's not why. There were other elements of Falcon Winter Soldier I liked too. But again, they're literally moments. It's like if you're in a car and you're driving by something real fast, like if you don't, it's a moment, bro. It's a moment. Like Falcon Winter Soldier has literally flashed by good moments. Outside of that, it doesn't. It just doesn't. And Antonio Film said his character was made fun of in his own show when the kids asked, "Aren't you Black Falcon?" Black Panther said gender swapped the Flag Smashers SMH. Yeah, I mean, and then made them teenagers, and then the main Flag Smasher was a teenage girl, and this teenage girl was beating the shit out of Sam in his own show. Like, how is he Captain America getting beat up by this 16-year-old? Well, there she had the super soldier serum, but why didn't he? So I don't get it. Okay. There were other comments, but I have to get to this. I got to get to the T'Challa stuff or the Black Panther stuff that's going on. Falcon said, Darius, this is you. What makes you hate Anthony Mackie as an actor? That is a very winded answer. Man, I just don't like. There's things that Anthony Mackie has said that have made me dislike him too. Things that he said about the recasting T'Challa. He said some things that made me dislike him, but I disliked him as an actor before that. I tolerated him as Falcon. I thought he was much better as just Falcon than having him as Captain America. I don't know. It's a winded one because there's several factors. That's the reason why I don't care for Anthony Mackie. It goes outside of him as an actor and other things too. So that's a winded answer. But someday, one stream with more time, I'll talk about my disdain for Anthony Mackie. Corey Allen said, Brie doesn't help things. Yeah, she has a history of being too political. No, Brie doesn't help things at all. She doesn't help things. I think that some of the hate that's thrown at her as Captain Marvel is unwarranted. I think that now the things that people might have against her politically or some of the things that she says outside of her as the role as Captain Marvel, yeah. But as Captain Marvel, I think some of the things is unwarranted. He also said they should have cast someone like Emma Stone or someone likable to men and women. But you're not wrong. That's a conversation that's been around that her as Captain Marvel for since she was cast, honestly. So you're not wrong. Z-Tech said, how you feel about Denzel being in Doctor Strange 3? I don't think it's real. If he is in it, I would prefer him be if you're going to do a one and done character with Denzel, have him be Blue Marvel. It's the it's the multiversal saga. Blue Marvel can come in from another universe, maybe where Monica currently is in that X-Men universe. Maybe he's alive in that universe. He comes over one and done. Have him be a black character. I don't want him to be red, purple, blue, green, and orange like Dormammu. Have him be a black character. There are plenty of black characters he could play. He can be an older Adam Brashear. I mean, Adam Brashear is supposed to be older anyway. Adam Brashear was a hero during the 60s, during the Civil Rights Movement. So Denzel's age would kind of fit perfectly with that. Have him come in and be him. A fucking Dormammu. Antonio Film said Giancarlo is a great actor, reduced to this minimal character. Like, how great
yes, like how great Jeffrey Wright is to a slightly better character, the Watcher. Yeah, it's kind of like how they wasted Lawrence Fishburne. I know we forget about that often. Goliath is in the MCU, played by Lawrence Fishburne. Wasted Goliath and wasted Lawrence Fishburne. Okay, all right. Let me move to what's going on here with the T'Challa stuff. Critical Mass said, "What makes Brie unlikable? Wanting to see diversity in press conferences and media outlets." Good question. Good question. Johnny said, "Him being Tupac made me dislike him." I didn't like him as Tupac either. To be honest, I didn't. All right, now the T'Challa stuff. Let's see. It was about. I got notes on this one. Okay, so 4 months ago, I came to you guys with the BP scoop from the trusted source that I have talked with a few times over that has sources over at Marvel that give him information, and he has given me certain information when it comes to T'Challa, when it comes to the Black Panther franchise in the MCU, and when it comes to what Marvel is currently looking at trying to do with T'Challa in the MCU. Let me go ahead and pull that really quick. So with what Marvel is currently wanting to do with T'Challa in the MCU, why is this? Sorry, hold on. Okay, anyway. With what they're wanting to do with T'Challa in the MCU. So, I talked about that a little bit 4 months ago, and the scoop, little TLDR on that 4 months ago is that Marvel was looking to try to cast Damson Idris in the role as T'Challa, son of T'Chaka in the MCU. Now, this role that he would be playing would be him coming in from a different universe. But before I get to that part, a part of that rumor was that they were also going to try to find a way to do away with the child. Now, take all of this with a grain of salt. Every single thing I'm saying, take it with a grain of salt. None of this is confirmed by Marvel. And as you guys know, anytime I talk about anything Black Panther related within the MCU or anything within that IP within the MCU or what they're going to do with him, recasting him, until I hear it definitively from Marvel Studios, it is not real to me. I'm just reporting on this. I'm just reporting on what I'm hearing, on what I'm being told. But until I hear it definitively from Marvel Studios, nothing surrounding the character of T'Challa in the MCU holds any weight unless it comes from the horse's mouth. Until it comes from the horse's mouth, he is still sitting on a shelf within the MCU, being, for whatever reason, mandated to not be used. Another time, another conversation, we'll stay on this. 4 months ago with the rumor I gave, Damson Idris was rumored to be coming into the MCU as son of T'Challa. At the time, though, I also told you that it was a package deal, that they wanted it to be Damson Idris coming in with another female actress. And at the time, I couldn't tell you who that female actress was. And I don't even think I still can say who the female actress is, but I feel like I can because it kind of, it's in this. I have to. So, yeah. At the time, I couldn't say who the female actress was because of the chances, because it could potentially ruin her chances of getting this role. But the female actress was supposed to be, or is going to be portraying Storm, rumored wise, grain of salt again, and again, a package deal. Now, most recently, we saw that Damson Idris was in line to get the role of Jon Stewart over at the DCU, and he was in talks with Aaron Pierre and Stephen James to get the role of Jon Stewart, the Green Lantern. Remember when we talked about that, I said, I hope he doesn't get it because for me, he's in my top 3 that I want to be casted as T'Challa in the MCU. So I didn't want him as Jon Stewart. So when his name got taken off the list, I was excited about that. What I'm being told from the source is there is a reason he turned down the role of Jon Stewart, Green Lantern in the MCU, and that reason has to do with what he's wanting, what Marvel is wanting him to be in their universe, and that obviously is the King of Wakanda, T'Challa. So at the time, like I said, I could not tell you who that character was, who that actress was that was going to be playing that, who's going to be playing Storm. But
Comics to Fun had tweeted the current writer, or who's writing the writer of the current Storm series going on in Marvel Comics right now. And I don't want to butcher the name. It is writer. I pronounced it earlier. Murowu Ayodele. If I'm saying that, butchering that, I know I am. Please forgive me. But he is the writer for the current Storm Marvel comic series that is going on. And the actress, Comics to Fun, asked him, the resemblance is uncanny. Blink twice if this was intentional. Ha ha ha. To where he had put the emoji blinking with the smiley face after that one, to where led some people and my source to message me thinking that, okay, it's kind of being talked about now, and that is the fact that Jamie Lawson is the package deal to potentially come over to the MCU with Damson Idris as Storm. Now, I know a lot of you probably don't like that because she's not a pick. I have not seen her be anybody's pick when it comes to the fan casting of the goddess Storm within the MCU. Now, I know that you may not like it, but please allow me to just finish what is being said here. Now, let's take ourselves back to 4 months ago. The rumor was that T'Challa was going to be portrayed by Damson Idris, or Marvel wanted T'Challa to be portrayed by Damson Idris. Now, this is not T'Challa, obviously, from within our universe, because Marvel morbidly and selfishly killed that character with Chadwick Boseman. So by doing so, they have, from what my source is telling me, realized the error of their mistakes. Now, do I believe this? I don't know yet. I don't know. Again, it's hard for me to believe this when I just watched 3 months ago or 2 months ago or however fuck it was in animation, when you refuse to put the character in animation and then try to make us look like dummies online by having Jake whatever the fuck come online and tell us that it made sense for T'Chaka to be pierced with Jubilee, Spider-Man, and the rest of them. So for Marvel Studios to be making us try to have us doing these mental gymnastics, or be trying to do these mental gymnastics in animated form with the character, why the fuck am I believing that they're going to do anything with the character in live action? They've shown me they don't care about him in animated form. They've shown me they don't care about him in the video games. They've shown me they don't care about him within the MCU. They killed him. He had one movie, a handful of cameos. What more does Marvel need to do to show you they don't care about this character? I'll digress on that, and we'll continue to see what they're saying here. But what we're being told is that this Damson Idris, or this T'Challa, played by Damson Idris, is going to be coming from a different universe. That universe is the exact same universe that Monica is currently in. That universe is the X-Men universe. And the Storm that's in that universe, is supposedly already married to T'Challa, or what we think is married to T'Challa. So that automatically brings him over with the X-Men and things like that. Now, does this newest thing kind of line up with other things that we've heard from other scoopers and leakers? Somewhat, kind of, if you kind of take some of these pieces and things together. Alex over the Cosmic Circus just recently said that Monica Rambeau and Carol Danvers are going to be very big characters and have very big roles in Avengers Doomsday. Why is Monica going to have a big role in Doomsday? Because it's been rumored for a long time, since all the Jonathan Major stuff has been going on, that Avengers vs. X-Men was on the horizon. And a lot of people have been thinking, a lot of scoopers and things have been saying that Avengers vs. X-Men was going to be adapted into Avengers Doomsday, which was going to be Avengers 5. Still not Avengers vs. X-Men, but it's not going to be titled Avengers vs. X-Men, obviously, but you'll have the Avengers versing the X-Men within that film. Okay, so if you have the Avengers vs. X-Men in that film, that automatically means that Monica somehow is going to break out of that universe and bring the X-Men with them. If she does do that, she's going to be bringing Storm, and if that rumor is true, that Storm is going to be played by Jamie Lawson, and Jamie Lawson's character is going to be married to T'Challa, who's going to be played by Damson Idris, well, they're coming from that universe. And it kind of fits in with the rumor that we've heard from the source. So does it kind of does it work? Will it work? It's never a question of would that work. That story does work. Having a T'Challa come from a different universe and then staying on to potentially be the T'Challa in our universe moving forward, if they really are trying to do away with the child. Do I think they're trying to do away with the child? I don't know, bro. I don't. And the reason I say that is because you stood 10 toes down in trying to introduce the child. The child was the whole purpose of why you buried the character of T'Challa with the real life death of Chadwick Boseman. So I don't know that I see them really doing away with the child, or maybe they still have the kid, and then this T'Challa takes him on as a son, because a fatherless kid, a fatherless black kid, a father without a son. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. I just feel, again, it's all botched. It's all botched right now. They've got to fix it. So do I believe that they're trying to do it with the kid? I don't know if they're really trying to do away with the kid at all. But again, I know that a lot of people weren't really looking at Jamie Lawson. I haven't seen her name floating around from anyone when it comes to fan casting for Storm, but that is, if we're to believe these rumors, what Marvel Studios is looking at the moment, and that is to have that package deal with the both of them, like I told you 4 months ago with Damson Idris. Now we've gotten her name thrown in. I feel like we can say it because, again, the blink twice. If this was intentional, and with the emojis he used, it could be a thing that it is intentional. And why do I say that it might be intentional? Agreeing with Comics Too Fun is because Marvel Studios right now and Marvel Comics are one and the same. Whatever's happening in the comics is happening. Whatever happened in Marvel Studios is happening in the comics, and we know that just from the reports of when that whole thing went down with Marvel Studios in the comics and things like that. So we could be seeing a thing where they are trying to intentionally make the Storm in the new Marvel comic series look like the actress that's going to portray her in the MCU. So it's very possible. Again, take all of this with a massive grain of salt. We don't know for sure what is going on with T'Challa in the MCU. We don't know for sure if we're going to see him in Secret Wars. It is speculated. There have been new reports coming out that a lot of the OG characters like Captain America, Black Widow, Iron Man, and some of the others will be recasted in the Secret Wars and the Multiversal Saga, and we will see them. And that's not outside the realm of possibilities because it is Secret Wars. If you know those comics and you know where the story is going, there are multiple different characters that should show up. T'Challa is one of the main characters of Secret Wars when the story, the Secret War storyline. So not having him a part of that story really does botch a lot of it. I mean, not to say that they can't do that. It's the MCU. Civil War is nothing like Civil War in the comics. Secret Invasion is absolutely nothing like Secret Invasion in the comics. One is really good, Civil War. Secret Invasion is absolute shit. So it can go hit or miss here. It can go one or two ways. Either they're going to really do a good job on this retelling of Secret Wars, or it's going to be really botched. But it's not outside of the realm of possibilities to believe that we could be seeing any of these characters coming back. Like I said, T'Challa's name was thrown in on the list of names, list of characters that could be coming back, recasted. I had said with the Russos directing Avengers 5 and 6, it's more real of a possibility that we could see T'Challa because they introduced the character into the MCU in the 2016 Civil War, and in my opinion, did a better job than what Coogler did of actually showing who T'Challa was with what we got to see of him in Civil War. I thought that version of him in Civil War was 10 times what Coogler did with him in his own film. So I think the Russos somewhat understand that character, maybe just a bit better than Coogler, if not better than Coogler. Marcus and McFeely, as being the writers, understood him better than Coogler. So I think that if we were going to bring him back, if we were going to put him in someone else's hands before seeing a Black Panther 3 of any kind, I would want it to be in the Russos' hands. Now, would that continuation of how they wrote him, of how they viewed him, of how they have him acting in Avengers 5 and 6, if he shows up, would that be a continuation of how he would be portrayed in Coogler's? I don't know. Probably not. Coogler's depressed. It probably wouldn't be that. And I'm not saying Coogler's depressed to try to get like some type of laugh or gag out of that. I'm not saying it like that. I'm simply saying the man is hurt. He's still hurt. Why hurt people? Why would you bring a hurt person back to an environment where they were hurt to begin with? None of them, as I've said many, many times, none of them are going to be able to step back on set and think of anything but Chad. Let's just look at today, for example. Lupita did an interview, and in that interview, she talked about how the impact that the first Black Panther had on the world. And when talking about it, she was talking about Chad and all that kind of stuff. They can't talk Black Panther. without talking Chad. And that's not wrong. They're not wrong to feel that way. But what is wrong is to continue to feel that way on a movie set and inflict those feelings into the movie, into the writing, into the energy and the atmosphere of the film. Because when you do that, you get a fucking Wakanda Forever. And when you get a fucking Wakanda Forever, you don't get that $1.3 billion that the first Black Panther film gave that lined Marvel's pockets. Why did that first Black Panther film get $1.3 billion? Because it wasn't a fucking funeral. The power of the black dollar wasn't going to be spent on going to see some depressing ass morbid shit. No one wanted to watch that. For all of you that sit and say that Wakanda Forever is a beautiful film, it was cathartic, how many times since November have you rewatched Wakanda Forever? I can tell you not much, and if you give me a number higher than once, you're lying. Don't lie. You don't have to lie to kick it. No one is watching Wakanda Forever. People went and saw it out of curiosity. Because I remember a lot of people saying, well, it still did somewhat numbers. People were curious as into, what are you doing? Why are you killing him? And then for some people, they did want to go because they wanted to show respect to Chadwick Boseman. As I said, it was never wrong for Marvel to want to show respect to Chadwick Boseman. The little thing that they did at the beginning, the silent Marvel crawl showing depictions of him in the role, brilliant, great. If you really wanted to show something to Chadwick Boseman or honor Chadwick Boseman, what you could have done is Marvel, for those of you that spend time on Disney Plus or within the Marvel section, because the only time I'm on Disney Plus is if Star Wars drops something or Marvel drops something or anything like that. But in the Marvel section, they have those assembled, those Disney assembled, Marvel assembled, or whatever the fuck it's called, where they show the making of every show or the making of whatever. You could have done something akin to that, honoring Chadwick Boseman, get a catalog of all the pictures, all the footage that you've ever had of him on set, of him on other sets, of him at the Marvel Studios, a lot of him talking with people, all of that shit. Get people that spoke with him in passing by, people that knew him, people that didn't know him that great, and have them all sit down and just give different accounts of who he was, of what he was, of how he impacted them. But instead, Marvel said, no, we're going to charge you $17.50 to come watch this film, be depressed as fuck, cry a little bit, so you can feel the exact same way we feel in a superhero film, even though we've never done that before. There's not another Marvel film like this. This is the only Marvel film out of the fucking, 40? That you're going to feel some type of catharticism in a film. Where we want you to come watch a funeral and we want you to come listen to this superhero that can't die, by the way, who's the king of the dead. Cancer's not a thing in Wakanda because they've cured every fucking sickness. They're the most technologically advanced nation in the world. But we want to show you how they're not. Don't get me started on this stupid shit. So no, I just don't see any happiness around this IP. This is a plagued IP. Until everyone that's involved with this IP is not involved with this IP, it's going to continue to be a plagued IP. That's really not even a debate thing. That's not a thing saying, oh, you're just feeling that way or you're just mad or whatever. No. See, 2 years ago, I would have let y'all maybe have that argument. Maybe before Wakanda Forever, I would have let y'all have that argument. I maybe would have went back and forth with you on that argument. I maybe would have went and tried to tell you, oh, well, let me explain to you where we're coming from. Fuck that. I don't need to explain anymore. We're past explaining where we're coming from. We're past explaining why this character is important. We're past explaining what this character means to us and X, Y, and Z. We are past that point. We are no longer in the space of explaining this movement. We are no longer in the space of explaining this hashtag to you being dense. We are no longer in the place of explaining why we've been saying recast T'Challa since 2020. That shit is dead. If you don't get it, if it's not clicking, if you are just choosing to continue to be ignorant, that is simply on you. That is simply on you. But we are past that. We are past it. And for me, I've said this many times. The wake up happened during this exact same time. It happened when they didn't use him in animation. That's it. That is it. That's when it happened. For me, that's when I really, I've had said it before, but I had really just come to the realization that it ain't happening, bruh. Whatever this mandate is, Bo DeMayo just recently talked about it. He didn't specifically say mandate, but he did say that the decision was not up to him. Humanity over continuity. As I said in the last Pantheon discussion we had about T'Challa, X-Men 97 came out this year. They were finished writing it in 2020. That conversation about T'Challa had to have happened in 2022, 2023. So if they were still in 2022, 2023 at the latest, still at Marvel Studios having conversations around the character of T'Challa, starting or ending with humanity over continuity, what the fuck makes you think that they are going to put this character back on screen in the form that we've seen this character before? Nothing. I'm a very pragmatic person. I'm a very live in the moment, go off of what I see individual. Nothing I'm seeing is Marvel saying, hey, we got y'all's back. Be patient with us. He's coming. Nothing. In 2023, conversations at Marvel Studios around the character T'Challa were still being said, humanity over continuity. So if they still feel that way in 2023, they're going to feel that way in 2025. They feel that way in 2024. And what's rumored for Black Panther 3? There's some bullshit 2027, 2028, 2026 possibly. They're going to feel that way then. Why? Because you're bringing back Coogler. You're bringing back the writers. You're bringing back everybody. Bro, Ryan Coogler said in that Black Panther podcast for Wakanda Forever, we, as in him and the cast and crew, we could not see anyone else donning that role. We couldn't see someone else walk through the door and be that guy, because that guy that was our guy is gone, and that's our reality, and he's not coming back. Those are his words. His words. And he's right to feel that way. That was his friend, colleague, whatever. But again, as a director, as someone who's got this being your job, as someone who's a storyteller, you have to, with respect, check those feelings at the door. Because you have a job to do. You have stories to tell. And if you can't get around that, humanity over continuity. But meanwhile, they want to tell you that Hugh Jackman is about to continue to play Wolverine forever and a day. Yeah, so... Yeah. But that is that's the newest news here on the Black Panther stuff. That's kind of, I wanted to kind of highlight that just as far as like, if the Damson shit is true, there's some other pieces that might lead to it. Like I said, it is interesting. Damson was offered the role of John and turned it down. So if he turned that down, it could have been for something else, or it could have potentially been for the role of T'Challa within the MCU. But you guys let me know what you guys think. I'll read some of these comments really quickly, and then we'll call the stream until I see you guys on Wednesday. Let's see what some of you guys are saying. Let me go back up. Damn, y'all, what's going on this one? Okay, I'll start here. Wait, here? Yeah. Okay, yeah. All right. NK said, yeah, I want Damson as T'Challa. DC would just waste away his talent anyway. They can't get much right.
Corey said, I love her in Scream, but they should keep quiet. Gray said, Damson Idris and Stephen James are my top 3 choices for T'Challa. Corey said, it's not about whether I disagree or agree. It's bad for your career. Critical Mass said, well, not talking to me, talking to Corey. Z-Tech said, so we getting the Panther and Storm duo. We need it. It's rumored. It's supposed to be what we're getting. Supposed to be what we're getting. And again, if the Russos are helming it, I mean, they do understand. To me, I think they get him. I thought they did a good job in Civil War. Gray said, bruh, I called that. Check your messages. Did you? I have to check it. Hold on. Well, yeah, my message is up behind this picture. Did you message me about that? Oh, yeah, that message you sent me. I remember that. Raptor said, Yolanda Noel is still my top 3. He's definitely in my top 3. But Damson and Aldis are, those are my top 3. Those are my top 3. Yolanda, Damson, and Aldis. Aldis is my number 1. Damson and Aldis are my top 2 choices for T'Challa. Anthony Hobbs said, DeWanda is my choice for Storm too, Anthony. He said, DeWanda Wise is Storm. Stevie Wonder can see that. Jeez, she's my choice too. She's my number 1 choice for Storm. I know a lot of people want Jodie Turner-Smith. DeWanda Wise is my choice, and she has said that she wants it. Johnny Washington says, Storm and T'Challa finally together in the MCU. Marvel, take my money. Yep, they would definitely get a lot of it. Raymond said, Aldous Hodges and Yolanda Noel are my top and probably only choices for T'Challa, son of T'Chaka. Puma Lee said, T'Challa and me are from 1966, April 13. Xavier Phoenix said, very, very interesting. Corey said, oh, that would be a bummer. I would rather they save that for the next phase. Maybe if the next phase is them, like, I don't know, in the next phase is the Wakanda that we've been on a journey with. Did it get incursioned? If they got incursioned and wiped off the face of the earth and they are no longer the Wakanda that we knew, then sure. Let's reboot it all. New Wakanda. Xavier said, I'd love to see Marvel Studios backtrack and admit they were wrong with their treatment of T'Challa. They will never do that one. A bunch of little things there. Z-Tech said, so we're getting Panther through the new X-Men. That's what it's supposed to be, rumored-wise. We're supposed to be getting him from that universe, married to Storm already. Storm is already Queen of Wakanda. In this new Storm series, which I doubt they're going to do that. I'm sure she's going to be an X-Men over there. But in this new Storm series, she is no longer an X-Men. She's one of the leaders of the Avengers. Is she not? Corey said, am I the only one who wants to see more Shuri Black Panther before we get new T'Challa? Probably so. And I'll say this, I don't dislike Shuri as Black Panther. That's never been my thing. I mean, I don't dislike her as the Black Panther in Marvel Comics, but at the same time in Marvel Comics, when she is the Black Panther, her brother is not dead. He's there with her. So I don't dislike Shuri as the Black Panther, but I also don't want to see her this early as the Black Panther in the MCU. I didn't get any stories with T'Challa as a Black Panther. I got his origin story or whatever story in the BP1. I got what I saw in Civil War. I got him walking out of a portal in Endgame, and I got him the things that he said and did in Infinity War. Outside of that, he has had so get this, and I use this all the time. I say this too. Spider-Man and Tom Holland and Chadwick Boseman, Spider-Man and T'Challa, came in the MCU at the exact same time, Civil War. One character went on to have 3 films and a handful of cameos. And now about to have his 4th film start filming this summer. Summer coming up. The other character went on to have 1 film, a handful of cameos, and he died 3 times in the MCU. He died in his film, he got dusted, and he died in his 2nd film. So you tell me which one of these things is not like the other. Yeah, it's very, very weird, the treatment of T'Challa. Kenneth said, man, they could just make the dead T'Challa a scroll and move the fuck on. Oh my God. That is the easiest. I've said that too. That's the easiest thing. You are currently dealing with Secret Invasion. Scrolls are currently in the main MCU world. So why the fuck you wouldn't just say, hey, that was a scroll? I don't know. He said, always making stuff involving strong black males too complicated. See Blade. Yep, a project that we're never going to see. But yep. Raymond said, I wouldn't want TJ to go. I want that baby to have a job and build generational wealth. Let's just have him and his father alive. Now, they can take that kid and shove him. The Lawrence Report said, who would y'all want to play T'Challa? Anyone in particular? My top three are Aldous Hodges, Shalon Noel, and Damson Idris. Damson and Yolande switched in that order. Actually, no, I think Yolande might be my number two. I think Damson is my three. I think Aldous is my one, Damson is my three, and Yolande is my two. Corey said, I just want Kiddo T'Challa to age up, no multiverse. I don't want him to age up. I don't dislike Divine, the actor that played him. That baby did nothing to me. All he did was collect a bag. He did nothing to me. But that character, T'Challa Jr., that's not a real thing. It doesn't exist. Who is T'Challa Jr.? Kenneth said Coogler is a joke. Yeah. The Lawrence Report said, y'all don't like... I don't dislike Coogler. Let me put that for me. Because I saw a lot of people saying like, oh, I can't... be honest though, when Sinners first got announced, like last summer or the beginning of the summer, or whenever it first got announced, when we were first reading about it, I was saying, man, this is hard because I don't like Coogler. It's hard for me to, again, let me rephrase that. I don't dislike Coogler. I dislike what he did with the Black Panther franchise. I dislike some other things he's done in other things, but I don't dislike Coogler at all. I think I dislike his treatment of T'Challa. I'm not going to see Sinners because Coogler's directing it. And I've seen some people saying, well, I'm not going to go see it because Coogler's directing it. I'm not that miserable. Now, I do not like Coogler's actions toward T'Challa and things like that, but I don't dislike that man personally. Like, he's fucked up for some of the shit he's done with T'Challa and things like that. I got beef on that, but I'm not like, preying on Coogler's downfall. Stamina said, oh Lord, Corey, you walking a lonely road. Grace said, massive grain of salt taken. They need to bring T'Challa back. I like this rumor. Bring a new team in, cast and crew. Yeah. Stamina said Jodie Turner-Smith. Corey also agreed. Critical Mass said, get Coogler out of here. I agree. He's got to go out of there. He's got to. Xavier said, taking an entire franchise out of emotion and hurt feelings is what's wrong. Agreed. Scooby Lucy Doo said, I'll admit I've never seen Wakanda Forever since I saw it in theaters. But that's my thing. And again, if anybody has watched it, I'm not throwing stones at you. If you find rewatchability in it, that's fine. I don't see the rewatchability in like a sad film. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm never on my day to day like I want to watch Roots today or I want to watch 12 Years a Slave. I'm not looking for depressing ass shit to watch, Like that film is depressing. Like the opening, it opens in depression. It opens in reminding you that not only if you did look up to Chadwick Boseman as a real life hero, not only is your real life hero gone, but your fictional one is gone too. Because we're gonna bury him with your real life one because we don't know how to tell a story. So yeah, no, it has no rewatchability. Like I can't even think. Namor is not even enough to make me go watch it because he's not even fighting his nemesis T'Challa. So no, I can't. Grace said I haven't seen it once. Don't. Corey said I love Wakanda Forever. I watched it 5 times. Oh well, brother. I think you were the only one in this chat. Stamina said respectfully that sounded a bit aggressive. Was that me? Would I sound aggressive on what I said? I don't remember what I said. If I did, if it was on that T'Challa stuff, probably. D Stizzle said funny how no fans co-sign a fanfic Morgan Stark wearing iron suit, but co-sign a fanfic Toussaint as BP. Andre said, we didn't need a lesson on grief. Completely agreed. Puma Lee said, Sharing was having a nightmare, or Shuri was having a nightmare. Her mother passed, and T'Challa was in the freezer. The child was just a dream. Only saw Wakanda Forever once, and that was enough for this guy. Agreed. Agreed. Damn, there is a lot on here. Let's see. Lawrence Report said no cancer in Wakanda. Scooby Lucha Doo said, I hear you, man. I hear you, but hear me out. There were a lot of kids that saw their king die, and I will admit Disney either both acknowledged or capitalized on it. They capitalized on it. I don't know if they acknowledged it. They definitely capitalized on it. And there were a lot of people that saw their king die as far as little kids go. But these little kids were having to hold, well, let's do this. Let's do this. I'll just show this really quick. I'm not going to get to everybody's comment, but I'll try to get to them. Xavier said, Darius, if they don't get it by now, they're being willfully ignorant. Yeah, for sure. Let me see if I can show this really quick. If I can find this. It's been a minute. Hold on. Let's look at some of those little kids that watch their hero die. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it. If I can't find it here, then I'm gonna have to and I'm not gonna be able to find it here. See, this is the thing. When you go, let me do this. Let me do this. Let's just have a before I show that video, let's just have another quick example really quick here, okay? Deadpool and Wolverine. Let's do that. Because I think it's out on, is it on digital now? I think it is it not? Or on Disney Plus or whatever? Let's look at this. These are people reacting to Deadpool and Wolverine, right? These are the thumbnails to Deadpool and Wolverine. Look at the joy. Look at the fun. Look at that. So much fun. So much like, oh, wow, that's crazy. Wow. Ha, 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 ha. So funny. Oh, Deadpool. Now, look at the reactions for Wakanda Forever. Tears. Crying. Shock. Crying. Crying. Wakanda Forever. Crying. Tissues in the fucking thumbnail. Crying. Crying. Depression. Sad. Blah, blah. That's the only Marvel film you will find a thumbnail like that. It's the only one. Because no other fucking film is depressing in a fucking funeral. It's the only one. Now, the other example here. Hold on. Let's do it. Because I remember everybody was bringing up the kids during that time too. The kids this, the kids that, the kids. These are the same kids that had before Black Panther was put into the ground, weren't holding funerals for their action figures. Their parents didn't have previous pictures of them holding funerals for their action figures. A week prior, they didn't have a funeral for Thor with their action figures in their bedroom. The only time that these pictures were taken of these kids doing that shit with their action figures is when Marvel said, we're killing T'Challa. And these kids got sad. These very same kids that we're bringing up, these kids got sad. I'm going to give you that. I wish I could find that fucking video. I know I have it in my videos that we did. Which video was that? When we were talking about that. Hold on. Which one was that? Okay. Hold on. Let me try one more thing. Because I know one more place it might be. Y'all remember when that video? Y'all know what I'm talking about? That kid. I mean, this is the one. It's only one video. There's others. Damn, it's gonna do that stupid shit. That's fine. That's fine. I can find it here. That would have been the old days. Here it is. Okay. Damn, I wish I could see what that TikTok was called. Anyway, this little kid is watching Wakanda Forever for the first time. Hadn't seen this before. And this is their reaction the entire time watching the opening of that fucking film. Okay, now the video was longer than that, but that Rihanna singing, and I think I cut it early on there too because I didn't want to copyright it. These are so the kids were hurt, bro. The kids were hurt because in what universe am I watching my superhero? Superman has died, the death of Superman. But when were the writers or anybody ever gonna leave Kal-El in the ground? Never, 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 never. And it's the same thing like with all these other heroes. When as a kid, when have you, as a comic book fan or a movie goer, ever sat down in the theater and watched your superhero be permanently buried? You haven't, and you cannot give me an example of one because it doesn't exist. Where your superhero from comics has been buried? That just I'm hard pressed finding an example. So the kids were hurt. All these kids were sad. We're having funerals for fucking action figures. Yeah, bro, like what? No. These kids were distraught. These kids were distraught, bro. It was tough. Yeah. So there's nothing around the Black Panther franchise or around BP that they're doing in the MCU that would convince me otherwise that they give a damn about this franchise at all. And I know Raymond said don't watch it. It was tough when we watched it the first time, those months and months ago. But I had to pull up that example. Had to pull up that one because I remember that. Scooby Lucy Juice said they thought they got sad because the actor died and that was their king. Yeah, I get it. The actor died. I completely understand that. But in this world, this Hollywood world that we live in, actors die. These characters are supposed to live on forever. Heath Ledger died. And in my opinion, I don't care what anybody else says, and this is my favorite comic book villain of all time. No other comic book villain stands in this lane with this villain of mine, and that is the Joker. Heath Ledger, in my opinion, played to this day the best performance we have seen of the Clown Prince. But the difference in Heath Ledger and Joaquin Phoenix is when I watched Joaquin, I was like, okay, we'll see how Joaquin does. And we've had other Jokers before Joaquin, after Heath. Joaquin did what he did as the Joker. Not as good as Heath, but still damn good. But the difference is I can have that conversation. The same conversation I can have with Spider-Man, where somebody's favorite Spider-Man might be Toby or Tom, mine is Andrew. But we can have that conversation of why Andrew's my favorite, or I can have a debate with you of why Andrew's Spider-Man is better than Toby's Spider-Man, or why Tom's Spider-Man is lesser than theirs, or whatever. I can have a conversation with you about why Joaquin Phoenix is not as good as Heath.
I can tell you what makes Joaquin's different from Heath and what makes his really good and what makes Heath's different from Joaquin's and makes his really good. I cannot have that conversation about T'Challa because that character is dead and buried with an actor that played him. And that actor is the very same actor that has had plenty of interviews that you can look up that we've covered where he has said what he wanted done with the role, and none of them were burying a fictional character with a real life person. None of them. None of them. We've had how many Supermans? Right now, currently in DC, we're about to have 2 Batmans. The Robert Pattinson Batman in whatever fucked off universe. And then the Batman that's going to be in the main DC universe. We've currently got Tom Holland. We've got Andrew Garfield rumored to come back for Spider-Man 4. Tobey Maguire rumored for a post-credit scene in Avengers 5 and 6 and Spider-Man 4. You're about to have all these multiversal variants coming. You're about to have Ian McKellen standing next to Michael Fassbender. You're about to have, what's his name? Patrick Stewart standing next to, who just played in Speak No Evil. Why am I blanking on his name too? The other Professor X. You'll have whoever this new Storm is standing next to Hallie. You'll have all these other characters who have gone on to have other actors portray them through the years. But people are telling me that the same thing cannot be done with T'Challa. And I'm saying the kids being attached to Chad, or they're seeing their hero died. I've used this too, and I say this every time, especially for these little kids. None of these people are thinking about Chadwick Boseman. I'm gonna be honest with you. Unless I sit down here, unless I'm sitting here, or I'm thinking about T'Challa outside of here in some capacity, that is the only time, for me, Chadwick Boseman is crossing my mind like that. I'm not and I'm not going to sugarcoat or lie to y'all, I'm not in my day-to-day, in my minute-to-minute, hour-to-hour, week-to-week, month-to-month thinking about Chadwick Boseman. I'm not. 1, I didn't know him. 2, I was a fan of his work. I was a fan of everything that he did outside of the MCU. But I mourned him in 2020. I mourned him again because I was forced to after seeing Wakanda Forever. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I have this fictional attachment to a man I've never fucking met. I'm not going to do that. Now, there are some weird ass people that have these attachments to celebrities. People that you've never fucking met, people that you're never going to fucking meet. And if you do meet, you're not going to have some type of impression on them. These are celebrities. These are people living different, completely fucking lives than we do. So I don't have some weird, fucking attachment to Chadwick Boseman. Is it sad? Was it tragic? Was it untimely? Of course, it was all the words and everything that we felt in 2020. But for me to sit here 4 years later, about to be 5 years later in 2 months in 2025, and sit here and continue to say that I have this attachment to Chadwick Boseman, or that it's I still feel this immense heavy amount of emotion, bro, cut that fake shit out. None of you care like that about Chadwick Boseman. These kids either. None of you care that much about Chadwick Boseman. You don't. And if you did, what have you done for the Chadwick Boseman Foundation since his death? That goes to cancer research and everything. What have you contributed? Have you gone out there? What footwork have you done for the Chadwick Boseman Foundation since you care so much? What have you done for cancer research since you care so much? He did work in Africa. Have you done anything work in Africa since Chadwick passed away? Have you picked up that mantle? Nothing? None of you? Can I buy a vowel? No? Then stop the fake fucking outrage. Stop the fake outrage. No one is that mad. No one is still that hurt. You're not. You're not. You're not. So to have this fake long drawn out emotion for someone that you don't know, That's some weird shit. No one's telling you can't be sad. No one's telling you couldn't have mourned. But stop the fake shit. And it's fake for online. That's what it is. It's fake for online. And Raymond said, "Nah, I'm still hurt, to be honest." But you're not hurt to the point to where you're saying, "Oh, I don't want this character recast," or "Oh, I still have this weird attachment to Chadwick Boseman." You can still be hurt. I'm Michael Jackson. Don't know the man, never met the man, love him. I love him. Never met him. But I'm also not going to sit here and have this, like, pretend that I have this, like, even in that I'm thinking about Michael Jackson in my day to day. I'm not. I think about Mike if a song comes up about Mike, or if we're talking music or something, greatest entertainer of all time, if that gets brought up. But for me to sit here and give this fake that I think about Michael Jackson 247, bro, stop. No one does that. That's not real. And if you are thinking about someone you've never met, a celebrity that's not thinking about you, seek help. Seek help. There are other things going on in the world that you need to be thinking about these goddamn celebrities. Seek fucking help. Scooby Lucci Doo said, "I was even more attached to Chadwick when I found out what other historical black characters he portrayed. To me, that was a great achievement for young black kids to look to even further after that." And but that's not what I'm saying either. Like, I'm not saying that either. Like, Chadwick Boseman was a great example for young black men and young black boys. Perfect example for someone to look up to. I'm not saying that because even outside of the MCU, I've used that. I've said most people that have seen him in the MCU that are so fake outraged about us using this hashtag have never even seen him in a role outside the MCU. So yeah, even outside the MCU, I love him in those and other roles. Like, I'm not even saying that. I'm saying people are not as attached as they are claiming to be to him. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not a real thing. It's not. Because if it was, bro, like, again, I posed the question, what have you done for the Cancer Foundation, the Chadwick Boseman Foundation? What have you donated? How much of your time are you giving to things that Chadwick Boseman gave to? Since you care that much, since it's that big of that much of a hole in your day to day, it's just I don't see it. Corey said, "I agree. It's virtue signaling, but Disney didn't know what to do. I think it was a weird situation." Yeah, they definitely didn't know what to do. Andre said, "Nothing wrong with being attached to Chadwick Boseman. He was a great man and actor, but he played a role in the fictional character T'Challa. Was here before Chadwick Boseman, should be here long after us." And that's my point too. There's nothing wrong with being attached or having or looking up to a celebrity or anything like that. Hell, when I was a kid, I wanted to be like Kobe Bryant. Hell, he was my favorite basketball player. I wanted to be in the NBA when I was a kid. I had that typical black kid ball in a dream. So there's nothing wrong with a kid or even as an adult looking up to some of these people. What I'm saying is don't be attached. Don't make your living and your being to these people. Like, that's just weird to me. It's weird. Like, bro, just because they give us peeks into their lives on Instagram and Twitter and things like that, I can go see what type of car or house or whatever the Kardashians are rocking in, does not then mean I have this full access to the Kardashians or Kim or anybody, or that they give a fuck about me because I comment. Like, it's just not. It's not real. They live in a completely different world. Scooby Lucci Juice said, "Dude, it's not about celebrities. It's about what they gave us in their performances." I think we're still missing the point. I think we're missing what I'm saying. No one is saying that what they do or what, again, I'm going to use my guy, Michael, as an example. Yes, look at Michael Jackson. It's not about Mike as a celebrity. It's about what he did, what he left, it's about his legacy. There are generation after generation. My nephew, who is 8, He knows who Michael Jackson is without ever even seeing Michael Jackson perform or anything. The name, the song. His little brother, who is 4, knows who Michael Jackson is. There is a village somewhere wiping their ass with grass who knows who Michael Jackson is. So yes, of course it's about the presence, it's about the legacy, it's about what they leave. No one's arguing that point. I'm saying stop weirdly attaching yourself to people who don't know you exist and don't give a flying fuck about you. That's what I'm saying. Stop being weird to fucking celebrities that don't give shits about you. Stop being fake outraged by Chadwick Boseman's death 4 years later. That's what I'm saying. Not saying you can't still have a feeling about his death 4 years later. I'm not saying that you can't still be upset and sad about his death 4 years later. I'm saying stop being fake outraged about his death 4 years later. That's what I'm saying. This whole bringing up his name when we bring up the recast, that's what I'm saying. It's weird. It's fucking weird. And it's not, since you care about Chadwick so much, what he wanted. It's not what he wanted. Somewhere, it's flying over heads. We're not getting what the fuck I'm saying. He also said, okay, I feel for Chadwick Boseman because I didn't know of his list of works until after his death or Black Panther. I hear your argument about not replacing him, but understand. Stamina said, weird maybe, but not the first of its kind. Yeah, definitely not. What they should have done was take the time, not make the decision of impulse, emotion, or financial gain. These strikes right through. SMB 85, appreciate that, said, a big flaw, conflate actors with the characters they portray. The characters outlive the actors and who portray them, so it's okay to recast. And that's what it's supposed to be. When you think when T'Challa was created in 1966 during the height of the civil rights movement, that Stan Lee and Jack Kirby said, you know what, someday in the 2000s, there's going to be a guy named Chadwick Boseman that's going to play him, and we want the role to stop with him. That's not what the character was even created for. The characters were created for representation. Because there were black kids, let's bring the kids back up, because there were black kids reading Marvel comics during the civil rights movement that didn't have characters that looked like them. So Jack Kirby and Stan Lee said, hey, there are black kids that read our white comics. Maybe we should give them a black character that's not a derivative character, that's not a sidekick, that's not the help, that's not improperly colored, but a character that is a king. He's black, he's uncolonized, he's a king of his own nation, he's got a galactic empire, he can't die, he's the king of the dead, he's the black Superman. Let's give him that. So he was created for representation. So yes, a recast is fine because they were never thinking in 1966 that they wanted this character to stop being representation. I don't know how we ended up here tonight, having to explain this. That's strange. SMB also said, I think about how Keaton, Kilmer, and Clooney Batman are all in the same continuity. Roth Superman being follow-up to Reeves Superman. Yeah, yes. Yes. D-Stizzle said, even if some of it's real, it's straight up celebrity worship. I'll take a guess and say Chad wouldn't want that. No. If you know anything about Chad, you've watched any of his interviews, and I'm not claiming that I know this man. I'm just going off of things that I've watched in his interviews, because I'm not going to be fake and sit here and say that I just have this immense attachment to Chad. I don't. So I've watched different interviews with him, and from what I can surmise from those interviews, he wasn't that type of person. Let's see. Scooby Lucci Doo said, Raymond first said, I never met Jesus face to face, but I think about him daily. Where's Cornelius when you need him? I'm not comparing Jesus to these celebrities. Of course, I think about my Lord and Savior daily, the man that died for my sins. But that's going down a religious road that I'm not going down tonight, and that is not the same as thinking about these damn celebrities. A man that saved my life, a bunch of celebrities that wouldn't piss on me if I was on fire. Come on now. Scooby Lucci Doo said, remember the reaction of the crowd when T'Challa came to NY, and there were crowds of people out there in the streets that the Avengers had to be called. This was leap from comics to reality. NK said, I think everyone here is pro recast. I would think. Most people are. Stamina said, Jesus should done more for your quality of life than any actor. And well, yeah, right. Raymond said, but that love doesn't support this weird obsession with association Chadwick T'Challa so much that you refuse to even think about another T'Challa in any iteration. Raymond said it's absolutely not the same, but for some, these non-religious celebrities, they may have a story of how some artists or actors work saved them from suicide or help. But yeah, I get what you're saying. And again, I don't want to even take it down a religious route because I feel like we're already off the rails. I should have been in my garage working out, been done. But through that, that's still God. That's not that celebrity. That is still God. Because without you being in the right place at the right time, divinely put there by the Most High, you were not saved by that celebrity. That celebrity had to be made by the Most High for you to even see that celebrity to have been saved by that celebrity. So no, it's still not the same. It's still not the same. Grace said, Hasbro found out how kids reacted to Optimus Prime's death in Transformers the movie, and they bought him out. Andre, not talking to me. Stamina said, one individual derailed the whole recast stream. That's what I don't know how we got here. I wasn't trying to even be on this conversation. Critical Mass said, I will never understand how Coogler could have been in that press conference where Chad broke down over the 2 kids that had cancer and still believed Chad would want T'Challa killed. That part too. You know, that's an interview that we don't talk about a lot just because of the nature of it and how heavy it was, but that part too. Scooby Lucha Doo said, almost gone, but remember, Disney will always use for kids. Oh, yeah, for sure. They definitely will. Disney is a kids for kids company. Let's see. Storm Shadow said, it's all BS. He's a character that's supposed to live on, despite the human or digital creation that portrays him. Bingo. D Sizzle said, don't think Jesus would care about the entertainment industry either way. No, at all. Raymond said, and that's another thing. I think that the way he died and kept acting while dying slowly made people associate him with a superhero like T'Challa. So that's where they get the things from. We need more black characters, not less. Andre said, just shows how not recasting T'Challa is still a major issue. Raymond said, and I agree. I'm not trying to compare Jesus to lowly actors or humans, but I'm trying to point out how for some people these celebrities have given them life in different ways, but still they. Yeah, I mean I get that. I feel that. I do. Because there are times that I relate, where I've related with someone that I like in the industry or whatever. I'm not saying that shit doesn't exist. It does. It definitely does. There's just there's a line, bro. I just don't fall into the blind sheep flock online like everybody else, like a lot of people. I'm not saying that everybody in here is. I'm not calling anybody in here, but I'm saying that there are flocks online that fall into that category, and I'm not playing that game.
Scooby Doo said, let's not also forget that the cast and production crew are human. They felt something. I've talked about this before in the past too, personally with Chad, and thought that might have been a mistake. I can understand the humanity or emotion. And again, I understand that. I do. I gave them that. No one said in 2022 that T'Challa better be in Wakanda forever. We just simply said don't kill the character. No one told that you couldn't feel. No one told them they couldn't mourn. No one was saying any of those things. Let me speak for me. No one on Planet Fanatics was saying any of those things. We were never saying any of that. I always said give the cast time to mourn. I always said let them, blah, 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 blah. But I also said there is a time. And this is the last thing I'm saying on this, because these are things I'm rehashing. I've said all this and all of we have a fucking recast T'Challa playlist, and a lot of the things we've said tonight is in that playlist. It's the last thing I'm saying about it, and I've said this many times. For those of you that do not know, if you're new, I coached AAU basketball, and due to coaching AAU basketball, I've gotten to know a lot of different boys, a lot of different players and things like that. I've lost 2 of my boys due to car accidents, different times, different grades, different ages. And due to losing those boys, of course, with AAU basketball, it's not a thing where we're together for a year and then that kid goes to play somewhere else. Most of my boys, we are together with that particular team. We had been together since they were fifth graders. So yes, we 5th grade on to their sophomore junior year is when that team stopped. So that's a relationship. That's family. You become family with some of these people. So with that, losing my boys, losing the 2 that I lost, that hurt. That was, again, like losing a family member. So my job understood that. My job gave me the time to mourn. They gave me, how much time do you need off? Time to mourn, time to go to the funeral, time for all of those things. But when my bereavement period ended, of course, when I came back to work, everybody was still comforting. How are you? Do you need anything? Blah, blah, blah. But when I sat down at my desk, work was work. I had work from my bereavement period I had to catch up on, plus the work that needed to be done on my desk for that day. So my boss and the clients and everything weren't coming to me, expecting me to not do my job. Business was business, work was work, bills were due. Yes, breathe, or yes, mourn, yes, have your bereavement period, yes, pats on the back, are you still okay? But you still have a job to do. There are still bills due. And whether that be a 9-to-5 job or Hollywood, there are still jobs that have to be done. There are still things that need to be done, stories that gotta be told, bills that gotta be paid. And if you as a director or an actor, producer or writer, or whatever field you may be in Hollywood, if you can't do that, if you can't do said job, then you need to dismiss yourself from that arena. And you need to go find a different place to work in. Because it doesn't matter what avenue of work you're in, business is business and work is work. We're going to give you your time to mourn. That's human. Anybody that doesn't is not being human. To me, that's inhuman. But there's a time to it. It does end at a certain time. It ends at a certain time. Critical Mass, appreciate that. He said all Ryan had to do was set up BP during the blips, and he still could have made a movie about grief and loss of Chad/Chala. Then recast it in BP3. Simple. I'm liking that. That was a perfect. That's a perfect one that you could have done too. Perfect one you could have done. And thank you for that, Scooby Doo. Yeah. Sad time. Miss my boys. It definitely hurt. I still think about my boys quite often. When I think about them both. But at the end of the day, the point I'm making there is I still had a job to do. And that's the same thing with them. I'm not being insensitive to them at all. I think I was making a lot of people mad during the Wakanda Forever days
because of my niceness to the cast and crew. There were a lot of people, including some in my audience, that weren't trying to give the cast and crew any type of leeway, weren't trying to give them any type of, sympathy. I was one of them. I was one that was always on the cast and crew side, always trying to be like, okay, give them this, give them that, time. But you only get so much. You only get so much. It was 4 years ago. Okay. Raymond, last thing he said, the song says, bill collector's at your door. What can you do for me? You still got to do your job if you want romance. That means walking through your grief. See how I did that? Yeah, guys. But anyway, that was a big deviation. Y'all really deviated my workout big time. Big time. Not it being 11:14. I told myself when I sat down, 10:30, I'm up. I'm up at 10:30. I'm going to get out there, work out for an hour, be in bed by 12. Fuck. That ain't going to work. But that's okay. That's okay. I like doing these conversations and hanging out in the chat with you guys anyway, so that's fine. But we are going to wrap it. I'm live again on Wednesday, and I'm live again on Thursday with the Pantheon. Thursday, I'm live with Marcus and Chill, possibly Corey too, for the Pantheon stream. Wednesday, I'm live individually for just here on the channel. Wednesday, I'm not sure what the news is going to hold for tomorrow, if there's going to be anything dropping tomorrow, anything dropping on Wednesday. If not, then Wednesday's stream will be a party stream where we'll probably come in, try to do some different things as far as like actually some of the ideas that I wanted to do, I'm gonna bring up to Chill and Marcus and see if they'd be interested in doing the Pantheon stream. So we'll see. But I appreciate every single one of you. Scooby Lucci Doo, I know that you are somewhat new. I remember seeing I don't know how long you've been watching, but I do remember seeing your name in Thursday's stream. And I always appreciate new viewers. I appreciate you too. The conversation, the questions, the pushback, the debates, I love that. And I do appreciate it. It is never a thing ever with me. I want everybody to know that. I've said this many times. I will never have any issue having a debate or going back and forth or anything with any of the viewers, like anything like that. Now, when it gets disrespectful out of names and shit like that, listen, you're on my channel. I will block you so goddamn fast, and I have you back in these streams. And if it gets disrespectful, that's different. But if it's just us having a conversation about different things, whether we agree or disagree, if it can stay on that conversation level, I'm always for that. And why am I for that? Because I'm one of the ones that truly believe that if you can teach me something different in an argument where I thought different at one point, then you can make me change my mind on something. If it's, I'm a firm believer in changing your mind on a situation where you weren't privy to either knowledge about it or given the full story or anything like that. So I'm always for those type of conversations. So I'm never going to deter from a conversation like that or stop anybody from having questions or whatever. I like that shit. I like it a lot. So anytime anybody has questions, please, don't stop. Don't stop with the questions. Appreciate you guys. But anyway, as always, I appreciate all of you guys for coming. Yes, like Andre said, to the new members of the channel, the new names that I have not seen. I see one down there. It's J.Carter88 said, hey, just got here. What was the BP update? Anything good? I'm going to timestamp this because I know a lot of people are going to want to come in and see that specifically. So I'm going to timestamp this whole stream so you guys can see people that are coming in, that are just coming in, so you can go to the parts of the conversation you want to go to. But like Andre said, to all the new viewers, I appreciate all of you guys. There were a lot of new names. There have been a lot of new names in the streams. There have been a lot of viewers. I think the high tonight was 84 or 83 views. We're getting close back up to that
100 spot. So I'm really, really appreciative. And in the super chats from Critical Mass, from SMB, appreciate you. I think I had another one from before SMB. I think it was Paul. Appreciate you. So all the super chats tonight, appreciate it. Even the if you didn't super chat, you just hung out in the chat. Again, so appreciated. I appreciate every single one of you. So again, I'm live Wednesday for just a regular stream. I'm thinking that stream is kind of be like a hangout party, MCU trivia, DC trivia type of thing. I might even try to have Q and Corey on that one. Might try to have Q and Corey there. I haven't told them about the streams, just not trying to gatekeep or anything from them. I just been popping in here so late. I don't think Q's desk is still here. He hasn't gotten us for that stream as well. So appreciate you guys. So Wednesday party stream, Thursday Pantheon stream. If I'm feeling it Saturday or Sunday, I might pop in. I was going to pop in this last Saturday or Sunday, or yesterday. I was going to, but I was so fucking tired yesterday. I don't know why. So, but Wednesday, Thursday, I'm back, guys. So thanks for hanging out. Like, subscribe, share with your friends. And as Scooby Lucci Doo said, till next episode, keep smiling. I'll see you guys all in the next video. Peace out. Much love.